Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Boy. I am your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is the pinnacle and perfection of perversion, Michelangelo's David Duchovny, Aaron Joseph Pita.
And I am just flying through the universe.
Ooh, not good.
Speaking of the universe and gaping black holes,
Oh,
Matthew Brousseau.
handsome Matt Brousseau, the Frenchman henchman.
Especially in Cape Cod.
The Cape God, baby.
Yum.
Baby.
So you guys, you know how though we have all those hot listeners?
Oh, my
Dude.
God. We have some of the hottest listeners.
Tens of.
All fertile.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
All
And the
fertile.
ones that aren't seem like they are.
Yeah, like you wish they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're,
I want to send a shout out to friends Josh Green and M Lynch.
feeding for a breeding.
This is a good looking couple. It's
boy.
It's Coop and Steve all over again.
What?
Yeah. It's a hot time. You know, you're
God.
going like, oh man,
Let me
you
get
know,
that sandwich.
Yum.
Yeah, very very cool people up in the Portland area. Hello to you guys, love you.
Hi.
And of course, we should mention the folks. Our Patreon, $5 a month, extra episode per week.
They've been getting some fire lately.
They've been getting some. From us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some shit. We had some shit.
I mean, with inflation
Yeah, dude.
and
Oof,
us not
oof.
changing the pricing structure, I mean, it's kind of like Costco not changing the $1.50 hot dogs.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a real hot dog of a time.
You're just getting quality meat,
Yeah.
buns.
Of questionable origin.
That's right, at a reasonable price.
Quite.
It's something you can depend on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of it's probably rat lips.
Probably.
Probably.
It's so funny they take the trouble to get the lips.
Well, they got to go somewhere.
Yeah. What are we gonna do with all these lips?
Yeah.
You think it's maybe just the rat
Hot dog.
the rat lips fall off while they're eating the other meat?
Oh,
And
maybe.
they just so happen to be rat lips in there, you know, because they get in there.
Oh, they got those little mouths and hands.
Yeah.
What the Patreon folks? They have been getting some fire, Aaron.
I would say so.
We've had some silly fun times. A lot of Orson Welles going
A lot
down.
of Orson Welles, a lot of comic book talk.
Yeah, yeah. Talked about Back to the Future 3 for like
Dude,
an hour.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Hey,
Talk
you
about my
guys have it.
dreams.
Yeah.
I had some more weird dreams last night.
Cool.
You sicko.
Man.
Yeah, I watched The Gray Man.
Oh, really?
In your dreams.
Did it suck?
Kinda.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it
Cool.
was a first draft for like a Captain America / Winter Soldier movie.
Yeah, well, now they're going to make a series
sequel.
out of it.
Yeah,
or
well, it
sequel
was
or
it was a
something.
novel.
Right.
The movie has nothing. They like totally changed everything. Not that the novel is any good, anyways. But it's getting a sequel. It was a $200 million movie that the Russos made with the writers Marcus and McFeely.
Yes.
It looked like it was like a first draft of a Cap and Natasha
Weird.
movie. Like
Real hot.
all the characters are there. You know,
Because it's all Russo brother shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
I want to say the Patreon subscribers, real fucking weirdos. A lot of them hot. Most of them.
Yeah, something for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. Yeah.
Hey,
And the Discord. I've been lurking on the Discord.
The
now,
Discord that
Very nice.
they created, the Discord.
It's a very nice community. I'm
Yes.
very happy.
I'm honored.
Glad they did it.
Yeah. It's real nice.
If I could be honest with you.
To be completely honest, to be completely honest with you, I want to get into what Matt's got going here because Matt was really excited.
Very excited.
He was really excited to
Yeah.
share this with us.
A cavalcade.
Yeah.
It seems like it is a
Yeah.
cavalcade.
Well, do you guys know this is episode 200?
I did not know.
Yeah, this is episode 200.
So
We have 200 episodes?
Yeah, we have 206 Patreon episodes.
Holy
Jesus fucking
shit.
F.
Yeah, it's a real output.
Where's all the money?
No money.
No money.
Suck-a-cock.
You suck a cock.
200 episodes. So does that mean we've been doing it for 4 years?
At least. No, it's probably been
Close
about,
to 4.
5 now?
No.
Oh, it might be.
End of 2017, I think, when you guys first came to the studio.
Fuck, we're going on 5 years of this shit.
You're young. You guys were so hot and young back then.
Yeah, it's time to
now
move-
you're hot
time-
and old.
Time to
You're
move on.
still young and hot.
Time to move on.
Yeah.
Time to wrap it up.
Oh,
No stories left.
I mean
Nah, nah,
that particular moment. Okay, got it. Not like the.
But
Oh no, the whole show's got to go, baby. 200.
I'm done.
I'm calling it right now.
Outta
That's
here.
it.
but
New show.
Yeah.
I was working on one bigger thing, and it didn't have the pizzazz I wanted, so I've had to, put that back. And then I sat down and just fucked off, and I started reading this book, and I said, "Oh, that's it. That's the one." And so I'm going to give you some backstory, and I've put
Give me the backstory.
a little structure into this. So I'll give you some backstory, then I'll go into it.
Context clues.
And then we'll go into sort of later. We'll go into some of my favorite examples of this. But did David beat Goliath? I ask you.
I think in the legend he does.
Yes, but did he deserve to?
Well, I guess
Well,
he beat. It's,
Talk out the myth.
I suppose it's a representation of technology over brute strength. The young shepherd boy using a slingshot
Yes.
to defeat a giant of a man
Yes. Well,
who might have had some sort of pituitary disease.
Yes.
St. Augustine, 4th century theologian, of course.
Of course.
He wrote, During the combat, God awaits, the heavens open, and he defends the party who he sees is right. So, David won.
Because
Therefore-
he was right.
He deserved to. God chose him.
Got it.
Clearly.
501, Gundobald, king of the Burgundians. In writing, he states, It being just that every man should be ready to defend with his sword the truth which he attests, and to submit himself to the judgment of heaven. And so under Gundobald's further established rules, two litigants, who they're sniping over an issue, right? They would face each other. One would they would take an oath not to use charms or magic against each other, and
Very important.
one would throw a glove down, and the other one would pick it up, fling down the gauntlet. Was where that phrase comes from, and once the glove is picked up, the battle is agreed upon.
Yes, throw down the gauntlet. A very famous precedent set by one Thanos of Titan.
Yeah, I don't think he ever threw it down. That would be kind of a bad
I
idea.
think he metaphorically threw it down. It was like, I'm going to lay this gauntlet down upon
He
thee with
dicked
great
it
wrath
down,
and
yeah.
furious anger. Plus, I'm inevitable. Is this a history of trial by combat?
Hold on. Don't guess. Let him get through
okay,
it.
it's very exciting.
So this system would spread throughout Europe. Nobles would be on horseback, and then non-nobles would just be on their feet. And they were all using swords until the nobles were like, those guys shouldn't be allowed to do this. And so they made the non-nobles fight with sticks. And so they just hit each other with sticks.
You fucking poor idiots.
Yeah. So you know how, like, in Robin Hood, when Little John, he won't let him cross the river, they hit each other with sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
It's
they were
probably good
poor.
not to let all your workers kill each other.
Well, there was also that, too. It's kind
Yes.
of,
And plus, it's funny to watch them whack each other
Yeah.
with sticks.
Let them fight amongst themselves, yet remain useful.
And so with these guys, you could fight all day, and whoever just won or outlasted the other, they would win. And for the noblemen, the winner was allowed to do whatever they wanted with the loser. Usually that meant beheading them.
Oh.
And
Me and you thought the same thing.
Rape.
Butt fucking.
they probably could have. It's not. It's
better than fucking
I
lopping
didn't see
their
any.
head off.
Dude, you won, dude. Do whatever you want with me.
Whoops, did I lose? Whoopsie daisy.
Can't believe I dropped my sword right away.
I need my stick.
Well, so
Don't
here's,
shove it in my butt.
here's the thing, though. If you lose and the other guy doesn't kill you, the king still hangs you
What?
because you lost.
Oh, and the king hates losers.
Well, it's
Does
just
the king butt fuck you?
if you're lucky.
It's good to be the king.
Sorry, I'm going to keep this one. Keep butt fucking him, if you don't mind. Your Highness.
No lube. Slide right up in this dude.
So a lot of these people weren't good fighters. So a system of proxy fighters sprang up, and you could pay people to fight for you.
Hell yeah.
Because you'd be like, oh, you got to fight this guy. He's,
He's huge.
yeah, or he's fast or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And
He's
so-
got no pituitary gland.
yeah, he's a real David and Goliath.
Yeah, he's the big show, baby.
He's a homie with an extra chromie. You know what I'm saying?
He's all, hey, you guys.
So you can pay people to fight for you, but while they fought, you well, you weren't allowed to watch, but you had to be in an adjacent like field or something, and you would have a rope around your neck tied to the gallows.
Are you fucking shitting
It's
me?
ready to go. Just
And as soon,
Motherfucker.
your guy, he's losing. Oh.
so as soon as your guy lost, then you were hanged.
Dude, is there a bigger thrill? Can you?
Are you allowed to jerk off?
Yeah. Can you jack it?
I mean,
No rules.
as you're being hanged, I guess there's no better time.
Hold on, Your Highness.
Oh, my guy loses.
Let me put together a chubby very quickly, Your Highness.
If he loses, I win.
Here I go.
Here I go again.
My weakness is men, sir. Sire.
So this would be called trial by combat,
Aha.
and it arrives in England with the Norman conquest in beginning in 1066. Yeah.
And the other system that you mentioned would be that of the champions. Would that be right?
No.
Paying somebody to fight for you?
No, that's still trial by combat. It's just in those days the fighter was your lawyer, basically.
I'll be representing you here today on
I'm Bartholomew.
field of battle.
I've squashed 400 cockroaches just this week. Squashing cockroaches is 90% of my business.
So 1096, the Count de it's a D apostrophe EU,
Yeah.
but he's
The EU. I
Yeah.
heard of that.
he was accused of conspiring against William II, and so his accuser, Geoffrey Baynard, and he fought in front of William. And
Jeffrey Baynard from Kentucky?
Yeah. I'm Geoffrey Baynard.
I'm Mr. I'm Jeffrey Baynard.
I was called to court by the king.
I really can whip him to good with a good old baton.
What year is this?
This is 1096.
Okay.
And so the Count loses the fight,
Shit.
and therefore he must be guilty of whatever he was accused of. So William has his eyes poked out, and then he has him castrated. And he
Jesus, living Christ.
and he shortly dies from that.
Oh, yeah. It'd be cool if they put his nuts in his eye sockets.
Maybe
Just
they
for the
did.
end.
Maybe they did.
Like, for you to pay the toll to the river Styx, put your nutsack on your eyeballs.
Oh, yeah. Put the balls in the eyes.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's a great idea.
I know that. I
Yeah.
just came up with it.
Because then you get all that piss in your eyes.
Yeah.
That good pee
Yeah.
that is stored in the balls, as we all know.
And you get across the river free of charge.
Checks out. Now in Denmark,
That's a problem.
Denmark had
It's because
a
there's nuts on your eyes.
system where you didn't need proxies to fight. So a guy could challenge an old woman to a fight.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like Denmark, all right.
But if it was a man against an old woman, the man had to stand in a hole while she ran around him.
Hell yeah. Hitting him with a cane.
Yeah, and if he missed 3 times, then she won.
Wow. What the fuck are they doing in Denmark?
They're just having a nice time.
I don't know about those guys.
Something's rotten.
In France, there's a story of Aubrey de Montdidier. And one day, his dog just burst into town without him.
Oh, God.
And he starts barking at this friend of Aubrey's.
Hey, buddy!
And normally, mild-mannered dog. And so Aubrey follows the dog, and the dog brings him to the forest, and there's a fresh pile of dirt. Aubrey's friend digs it up. Aubrey's dead body is in it.
No.
Shit.
And the guy's like, oh, okay. So he adopts the dog. And one day
The dog that just murdered its owner?
Well, one day he's bringing the dog around town. Mild-mannered dog, usually. And the dog sees this man called the Chevalier Marqueur.
Oh.
And the dog loses his fucking mind.
Motherfucker killed Aubrey. You fucking killed Aubrey and put his nuts on his fucking head, you fucking bastard.
You put his eyes in his ball bag.
And so Aubrey's friend brings this to the king. King goes, well, he's got to fight the dog.
Holy shit.
The Chevalier.
Yeah.
Dude, this dog is gonna fucking own right now. What kind of dog was it?
It didn't say. But the Chevalier, he gets a lance, and the dog gets his dog stuff.
But does he get dog armor?
No, he just gets his mouth.
That's tight. Pretty good. Dogs will fuck you up.
Yeah.
And so the Chevalier against the dog. Chevalier tries to lance him, but before he can, the dog jumps up and grabs him by the throat. and pins him down.
Holy shit!
And is biting his throat. The Chevalier says, "I'll confess if you stop him from killing me."
Oh, I don't
Dog's
think
got a mind of its own, dude.
I don't think so, buddy. And then what? Get hanged?
And then he got hanged.
Dude, nice.
Either way, you're losing your neck, bro.
Bro. Oh, and I bet like the dog did a lot of good work on that neck too.
Ooh.
So when he got hanged, snapped right off.
Boom.
Like a fucking celery stalk.
So imagine a dog watching him get hanged, just wagging his tail, panting.
Do you think they?
Aubrey's like, good boy.
Yeah, looking up. At,
I do good, boss. I got the bed, man.
the dog's going, I think I'm going to like justice.
And so this is this is trial by combat, but this would lead. What it would
Oh,
lead?
the one in Australia where it's trial by wombat.
That's right.
They get the wombats in some fucking chainmail. They're like, go to town, chief. Like, yeah. There's your opponent over there. So stupid. I'm so sorry.
No, that's why we're here. But what this would lead to, trial by combat, would be something that a little bit less official legally, but much more acceptable socially.
Oh,
And so
I like that.
today I bring you, you lovely non-gendered men, the history of dueling.
Oh.
Good movie. Duel.
Duel. Yeah. Spielberg. First one.
Really?
Yeah, it was a TV movie.
Oh, okay.
But it was a Richard Matheson story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's about a truck, right?
It's a guy, and yeah, this truck just wants to kill him. He's a motorist, and you can never see the truck driver's face. And there's a point where he gets to like a truck stop, and he sees the truck's there, and he's in the truck stop, so he knows the dude is there, but he doesn't know who it is. And so yeah, it's just this guy on the road like fighting for his life for this guy that for no reason wants to kill him.
Yeah, I liked it the first time when it was called A Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah. That was.
Do you think they call them peepers because they used to cut your balls off and put them on your eyes?
That's exactly.
That's why they're called peepers.
Peepers.
Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about
You
that.
have one pea per eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peeper view.
Yep.
So I get most of this information from one of my favorite books to have ever read for this program, A Gentleman's Blood by Barbara Holland.
Gentleman's blood.
It is she makes fun of New Jersey in it. She makes fun of the English. It's just exactly what, you know.
Good old Barbara.
I read the first 2 chapters and I said, all right, this is the one.
This is the deal, man.
So the duel, from the Latin word duelum, duo plus bellum, war between two.
Huh.
Now, the winner wasn't always the stronger man.
No.
David did beat Goliath, after all.
Could be the craftier one.
It doesn't even have to be a man. It could be a dog or a
True.
old woman.
I tell you who I don't want to go up against is that odd job.
Oh.
Because you can never get a shot off on him. It goes straight over his head.
Unless you get a DK mode. You throw a DK mode on in this duel, then we got a shot.
Yeah. Well, I do the kneeling thing where, you know in
This happened now?
GoldenEye, where you can, for some reason, run as fast as living fuck on your knees.
Yeah.
You just zoom like
Yeah.
you got a little go-kart under you or something.
Pretty, yeah.
So you got to do that with Odd Job.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Hot Job.
Tip for you folks at home with the new video game. GoldenEye.
Still got it. Still in touch.
64.
So, as Holland says, the duel's mother was tried by combat, and its father was chivalry. Oh. So we go back to knights jousting and competitions with these giant crowds, and they would duel over land or an honor or a lady or
Yes.
and these weren't judicial things, and the loser could beg for mercy without being hanged.
Oh, God, please.
But the winner could still do whatever he wanted to the loser.
I'm going to teabag you, you fucking piece of mouth.
Yes.
Look at them. His testicles are eyeballs.
I like to, before I get into a duel, I like to paint a couple of eyeballs on my testicles just in case I win, so I can dangle my sack on the top of his eyes and make it look like he is looking. Has a crazy eyes, the googly eyes.
You probably should be training more than just thinking.
Yeah, this is part of the training.
Okay.
Man must train to be a good winner.
Look at his eyes, they're crazy.
This is chivalry, I tell you.
I made him all Arnold.
Yeah.
Look at his eyes, he's out of his mind. He clearly can't think for himself.
One day I'm going to duel an Austrian with brute strength. And I will dangle my French testicles upon his eyes.
No wonder he lost the duel.
The only thing he will see coming is me.
You'll never see me coming.
So more often than not, they would just cut off the guy's head and drag it around town, or like put on a pike.
Drag it around town?
Yeah.
Dude, people needed to get hobbies.
Yeah.
This was
the hobby.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't knock it till you try it.
This was upper class stuff.
Yeah.
And again, the sticks for the lower class. And the kings would challenge each other, but they would never follow through. But it was their way of saying, like, this is what the noble people do. This is
For real?
Yeah.
The kings would challenge each other to
duel, but they would never follow through on it.
That's so weird.
But by doing that, they were telling the nobles and the knights,
I get down. I party.
You should be doing this.
Dude, I am nuts.
And so
I am nuts.
nobility wasn't a simple thing to prove. You needed at least four generations on both sides of the family. You couldn't have, quote, insulted the church or the monarch, or violated women, or killed any innocent people, perjured, forged documents, burned a neighbor's crops, or more importantly, had ever worked for a living, especially buying and selling things.
You had to prove that you didn't work?
Yeah.
Holy
But
shit.
in order for you to fight to the death and not... you had to prove that you had never done any of these things.
Jesus Christ, man.
I'll work.
Yeah, I'm good with the work. And give me a stick.
Yeah.
Hit my friend with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so these
I love buying and selling shit.
Why can't you buy and sell shit? Isn't that
Money's dirty.
because gentlemen don't do that. If you had enough money, of course, you could buy your way in. But gentlemen, the original definition for gentleman, it's now fourth in the Oxford Dictionary and labeled old-fashioned. But the original definition for a gentleman was a man of high social class, especially one who does not need to work.
And so he just has limitless wealth behind him.
It doesn't have to be limitless. He just doesn't need to work.
Yeah. He's a gentle man who has a fucking severed head pulled around by a horse.
Yes.
Dignified. Noble.
Gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it.
Paints his eyeballs on his nuts just in case he might fight somebody and win. So he could put them upon those eyelids.
Right.
Yeah.
Dignified.
Right.
Now, originally, all the trials by combat were ruled by the king. He'd decide who and when and how. And that officially ended in 1547 when Henry II, the King of France, he just completely fucked up one of these rulings. These two guys were dueling. One of them wasn't going in. He wasn't as good as the other one, but he was a Frenchman. He got trained by an Italian, they said. He learned a dirty trick, and he cut the other guy's hamstring.
Wow.
During a swipe.
Swink.
And
okay, what's wrong with that?
Well, it's unsporting.
Oh, come on! It's your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he cut the other one.
Oh.
And the other guy was so embarrassed. The other guy said, "Kill me," and he's like, "I don't want to kill you." So he goes to the king. He goes, "King, Henry, I don't want to kill this guy. Tell me what to do." And Henry waffles, doesn't say anything. So the guy swings at him again, and he's like, "Don't do that." And he hits him, knocks him down. He's like, "Stop doing that. I don't want to kill you." And he goes back to Henry, and he goes, "No, I don't want to kill this guy." And Henry goes, "I don't know." And he goes, "Okay." And so he goes out there, and he likes shoving the guy around. The guy's like, "Kill me. For the love of God, kill me."
Dear God.
And he won't do it. And so this was called the defeat of royalty.
Oh, everybody lost.
Yeah. And so since that point, they were like, let's keep the kings out of this.
Yeah, I don't
It's just
wanna-
embarrassing for them if they're like this guy. And then
People were going, "Oh, we don't talk about that."
and fun fact, 12 years later in a tournament celebrating a peace treaty, Henry II took a lance to the head and died.
How?
He was doing some fun fake jousting, and they
Jesus.
Shit.
oops, yeah.
Wow.
So they stopped doing that too.
Yeah, he stopped doing everything.
Yeah, he's a real man of progress, this Henry.
Shit, poor guy.
And so
Poor dumb bastard.
now, once the trial by combat is removed from the royalty, it comes down to the landowners and the gentlemen themselves. And so people would rent out their fields, and everything started becoming less official, right? You didn't have to petition the king to fight somebody anymore. The king didn't have to say it was okay.
Yeah.
The king didn't have to say who lived and who died.
Right.
Yeah, decentralize the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And
keep the government out of murder.
And by the 1600s, war itself had changed. Agincourt, the heavy knights were defeated by the longbowmen, right? And Joan of Arc said the war was too quick for a knight in knight's armor. And so by 1605, Don Quixote is published, right? And it's just a book making fun of a knight, even though he's a fake knight, but it's in essence it's saying this is an old-fashioned profession at this point. And but these gentlemen, they still needed an outlet for honor, and so what emerged from that is the duel. So trial by combat and chivalry, as they morph into these unofficial things, becomes one man, his honor, challenges another man for his honor.
Yes.
And it's quite the rage. Over a 11-year span in France, 10,000 men died from it.
Holy shit.
10,000 men lived.
Yes, that's true. Well, no, I mean, some of them
Probably both died.
Sometimes that did happen.
Yeah, they had no hamstrings or whatever.
By his 30th birthday, Chevalier de Andrieux had killed 72 men in duels.
By his what birthday?
30th birthday.
Damn.
And how... Wow.
He sounds like Mad Dog Buford Tannen.
Over the matter of 80 francs.
Damn, that's a lot.
It's a lot of dudes.
And that's what are they dealing with?
They're dealing with swords.
Fucking A.
And so...
Raphael.
The Italians are the first to take this idea of chivalry and revenge and really codify it. And in 1410 is published the Flo Duelatorum, Duelatorum, a.k.a. the Flower of Battle. Excuse me. I want to show you a picture of it.
Oh, I love a good photographic.
It was published, you said?
Yes, in 1410. It is a manual about fighting.
How to duel.
Yes. And it is largely associated with...
Dueling for Dummies.
Yeah, I mean, like hand-to-hand combat with daggers and swords, and you can see from this picture here they have that little...
Oh, yeah, that dog with a castle on it.
Buy an elephant.
Yeah.
Put a castle on it.
How's he going to get you in there, dude?
So instead of a giant battlefield, now they're talking about how to do small time
combat. What the fuck
combat.
is that elephant with a castle on its back?
No, it looks like a dog with
What does he have?
Yeah, I know.
Is it breathing hot steam?
There's no explanation for this picture, but
the
dogs were different back then.
The dog is supposed to do some scuba stuff.
Yeah.
Or snorkeling.
Yeah, he's a snorkel dog.
Yeah. And then he's got this sort of Trojan horse thing.
Yeah.
And then the guy at the top is doing like the lightsaber twirl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, in 1480, Germany opened dueling schools.
Wow.
And in 1559, Il Duello is published in Italy. It is the first ever laws of dueling. The rules of dueling of this is the appropriate thing to say to someone or to
Sup, motherfucker?
and the person who insults you, you have to give them a notice that you would like to fight them, and then then there's some rules about who gets to choose what weapons and where and when and who comes with them. The seconds are very important because sometimes the seconds would the person you brought with you would want to fight more than the two people dueling.
After school, laundromat parking lot by the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
No guns, just nunchucks.
All right. And then it's like basically like you have like a caddy,
Yeah.
a fight caddy.
Yeah.
And he could be like fucking balling out of control, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of a good idea.
But they're also there to enforce the rules too.
There's rules, dude.
But so being a gentleman, you just needed courage. You could be the rapiest, moneyest, losingest man. But if you won your duels, everybody said you were still a gentleman.
Ah.
And being a gentleman was something that could be earned, too. As this is from Henry V, Shakespeare's Henry V. We happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he never so vile, this day shall be gentle. This day shall gentle his condition. Right? So therefore, if you fight with me, you will be a gentleman.
The more blood we shed, the more gentle we get.
Yes.
Yes. It's a very, very, very British way of looking at things.
Yes.
I'm talking about kindness here.
We're killing them with kindness.
Kindness where we fertilize the lands with the blood of our enemies, of course.
Yes, and the ovaries of their wives with our semen, yeah?
Yes.
We take what is ours rightfully.
Perhaps some buggery, sodomy.
Before,
Along the way.
afterwards, during, instead of the fighting.
I mean, I'm talking about the gentle human condition here.
Yes.
I'm talking about kindness.
And so after this book is published, they're kind of the idea of dueling spreads a little bit more, but also the rules become more nations make rules, more places make rules about how to do it. And one thing about being a gentleman is you only fight other gentlemen.
Right.
If someone is below you, you just shove them aside. You don't pay them any mind.
Out of the way, Toad.
Yeah.
And you only fight people at your level or people above you. If a peasant hits you, whatever. You probably could just stab him to death and no one would care.
Yeah. He's only got a stick.
But in places like Malta, if you didn't agree to duel with another gentleman, you could be imprisoned for life.
Jeez.
Wow.
In Sweden, if one man didn't show, he was legally barred from giving testimony or writing a will.
Holy shit.
Basically, you're cut out of society if you don't do this thing.
Yeah, man, there are rules, dude.
Swedes.
And I should say, the whole thing is going to be very Western-centric. But there was dueling in the East. Ancient India, the Kshatriya, this one system, a Hindu caste system, I believe. I forget. They would practice a thing called combat charity, in which old men found it disrespectful to die in their beds. And so when they got old, they would schedule a duel.
Fucking do it.
With who?
Someone to kill them.
Some young guy?
Yeah.
Come on, motherfucker. I still got it.
Yeah.
I ain't going out like a punk bitch.
I don't got it.
That's a good way to go.
It is.
Yeah.
Die an honorable death.
Yeah.
In Indonesia, they would sometimes do what was a sarong fight, in which two men would get inside of one sarong
and fight
with a knife.
What's a sarong?
It's like a
wrap.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh, okay, yes.
usually I don't want to say exclusively, but usually ladies wear them now.
Yeah. But very tight quarters.
Right.
And then we'd stab at each other.
Yeah.
With knives.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
And so usually both of those guys died.
Yeah, that seems like the way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What they should have done was get them in one of those two-man donkey things.
Oh yeah.
The guy in the back always wins.
Yeah, always.
Well, because he loves smelling farts.
The ass of the ass.
Yeah, that guy in the back, he's always got it.
In Japan, there's a famous duel between two samurais. Samurais would sometimes do a thing called kito, and is Miyamoto Musashi versus Sasaki Kojiro. There's actually they fought on this island, and there's actually a statue there today commemorating it.
I think Miyamoto Musashi, is that his name? I think he wrote the Book of the Five Rings.
Yes, I don't know if he specifically wrote that, but he did later in life become a well-known author. So
Wrote the Book of the Five Rings. Yeah, that's probably the most famous.
And in that story, apparently, he showed up with a wooden sword he had carved from an oar, and then he beat Sasaki, and Sasaki's friends were so pissed they tried to chase Miyamoto away, but he just got in his boat and rode off.
He had one oar. He had a good oar left.
Yeah, he is. There's an island, but there's a statue on that island today, commemorating this fun time. In the Philippines, they use bolos to fight. The big old knives.
Not the ties that cowboys
Yeah,
wear.
I was confused by that, too.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. But anyway, so dueling wasn't just a Western thing, but,
Yeah, two guys being idiots.
it's pretty universal.
Gets around, yeah.
Yeah. Spreads like wildfire.
But
I'm calling you out, dude.
Can't blame the whites on this.
by the 1600s, the most popular way to start a duel was just to call someone a liar. You could just call someone a liar.
Oh, God. It must have been all the time.
Yeah, it happened a lot.
Dude, just friends fucking around. You fucking liar. No way
Yeah.
that happened. What?
Dude, I fucked your wife. You did not. What'd you say?
Shit.
Oh, fuck.
This guy fucked my wife.
You did fuck my wife.
And
you're
he's
gonna
a
kill
liar.
me. You're gonna kill me. God damn it. Shit. You fucked my wife and you're gonna kill me now.
In 1592, Sir Walter Raleigh had a poem, The Lie, and in one of the lines said, "To give the lie deserves no less than stabbing."
People were lying all the time.
Yeah.
They were getting
dude.
stabbed for it back then.
Here's what this was. This was a way to get away with lying. Start lying. Nobody's gonna call you out because they don't want to die.
Dude.
Well, no, people liked calling people out.
You
Yeah.
fucking liar.
Back then, like, a lie is also, like, just pure superstition and who it's a total popularity contest.
Plus, you could die.
Nobody knew what was going on anywhere.
You get hit by an ox cart and die. Like, there's, people are dying all the time.
Fucking liars.
So initially, from 1550s to the 1600s, the rapier was the sword of choice. It was 4 feet long, 2.5 pounds. It was made for thrusting, not cutting, but thrusting.
4?
Yeah, they would say like the mark of a man is a sword that stands up to his belly button, and they would just go around town.
not that
Yeah,
long.
I guess, yeah. If you look at it.
And it's long and thin. It's a stabby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stabby knifey.
Yeah. England, I think London eventually had a rule that you can't have any sword over 3 feet, and so if you showed up with a 4-foot sword, they would break the end off.
Uh-huh.
So then you could still carry a.
Well, now you got a sword and a knife. You got a nasty, jagged sword that still will kill somebody.
Yeah. And then you
And
get
then a
close
nice-
to a guy and you go,
nice-
come here, you lying motherfucker.
A slice.
So here's a picture of the rapier for you.
That's a nice rapier.
Yeah, so there's a little fancy handle with the
Quite.
guard, the hilt with the guard on
Yeah,
it.
well, you got to protect your hand.
Yeah.
You do.
You do. Because if you drop the sword, you're in trouble, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how about the rest of your body?
No, but
What's
if
the
you,
sword
if, you,
for?
if you hit one sword against the other, maybe
Clang,
it
clang.
slides down the end and it hits your hand.
Oh!
Yeah, that's
Go
the
clang,
sound
clang,
it
clang,
makes.
clang, clang,
Uh,
This guy never been in medieval times, dude. He's unfucking.
yeah.
I haven't.
By the
I'll go.
by the 1750s, the sword of choice was the short sword, aka the court sword, and it would have an edge that if someone grabbed the sword, it would cut their hand, and then you could stab them while their hand was being cut.
Good.
And that looked like one of these
That's
here.
much better. That's
Yeah.
a good sword to
That's
have.
nice. No hand protection, fellas.
No, there's
still a hilt.
significant hand protection.
There's
there.
a shield.
Yeah, what would you call a shield? Protection?
Yeah, the other one looked a little bit more all-encompassing.
No.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a much better one in my opinion. As a noted
As a
sword
swordsmith, yeah.
Yeah.
So you look like a guy that likes swords.
Sword enthusiast.
Now, what about the pork sword?
Ooh.
That's more of a pork bayonet. Short.
Cuts deep. In the 19th century, eventually, as these fights evolved, they got down to the épée du terrain. It was the unedged dueling sword. It looked like this here, and you could thrust, and it was thin enough that you might not kill the guy. So eventually, as the duels evolved, they were like, we don't have to kill the guy.
Right.
I'll just have to win the fight.
Then
And so
they start wearing masks and those stupid white suits.
yeah, and because then you wouldn't go to jail if you didn't kill the guy, right?
Right.
Even if it was just for a
Needle.
trial.
Yeah. Just doing acupuncture on your fucking buddy.
Ah, thanks.
But it's
So
something.
glad I lied.
I can smell again.
It's some countries though they stuck with like curved blades. Germany often used curved blades
The Autobahn has no speed limit.
because it gave people interesting scars, and that was like
Oh, the German dueling scars where we've talked about on the show before.
Yeah.
Very big.
and
What
so-
happened to you, Otto?
Someone called me a liar. You should see the other guy.
But so dueling just it took the it took Europe by storm, and by Europe I also include the United Kingdom and Ireland.
It's Europe. They're in the EU.
Well, today they are.
No, they're not actually.
Well, England is not.
Right.
Ireland is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they've always been considered Europe.
Well, yeah. Modern definition of Europe. Yeah. Yes.
Well, you might call it Oceania or whatever.
But so the English, they like to say that the Irish were the real duelingist folks out there.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What did we do with bricks of shit?
What about the
I'll
Scots?
tell you now, I'm not a fucking liar now. I've never told a lie.
I'm going to
Lie.
fashion this turd into the shape of a rapier. Give me a moment now.
I'm going to beat you to death with the bone of the lamb that died on the farm.
Now, fuck yourself with the shape.
Now get down in the bog and lap it up. Get down there now like a good dog. Now.
One other, James Kelly, in his book, This Damned Thing Called Honor, he catalogs the causes of Irish duels recorded between 1716 and 1790. And he says insults accounted for 93, politics and elections 72, women 21, legal matters 14, drinking 11, playhouse 10, gambling and jousting 4, religion 2, and one just listed as feud. The rest were listed as a quarrel or some words.
Yeah. That's very Irish. Well, there's some words between them now.
It nearly escalated into a feud now.
And the thing is, now you can't have some words if you're alone. So one of you has to go. And that's the way it is.
Don't be turning this into a feud now.
Now, we don't have too many now. Religion has 2? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, they probably
Big
are all
Catholic
have
country.
this. Yeah. You know, the same religion.
Jesus Christ. I'll tell you, I'm more afraid of the Pope than I am of Seamus.
You fucking liar.
I'm not a fucking liar. Now you fucking take that back now. I'll
Can't take it back.
I'll stab you.
With
I'll
what?
stab you.
With what?
With
What
the bone of the lamb.
bone of the lamb.
With the bone of
I
the
got
lamb.
a bone of the lamb right
I'll give
here.
you the pork sword. I'll give you a pork sword.
Park?
I'll give you a pork sword straight through the
Pork sword.
straight through the eye.
and then when I'm done, I'll put me nuts on your.
That's right.
Your eye
That's
sockets
right.
there.
Yes.
And you'll like it.
I'll put me pork sword through your eye, and by God, I'll suck it into me nutsack. Through my urethra, you see.
No. And then one day I'll be taking them nards of the goat, and I'll be putting them back in me nutsack, and I'll be twice the man I was before.
I says to myself, Jesus Christ, no, you know, if fucking Bridget didn't give birth to a big old eyeball. What was that about? Huh?
How did that?
And I said, no, I was in a. I had some words a few years ago, and my God,
I remember I sucked up a man's eyeball with me urethra.
I remember me urethra sucked up a man's eyeball, put it in me nutsack. And well, what are you gonna do now? You know. So anyway, we raised it as one of our own.
Yeah, as you do.
And we called him Seamus. And he would never shame us again.
Yes. So in a way, he kind of lives on, Seamus. If you think about it, it's kind of a happy ending.
Yeah.
In a way, I'm glad we had some words.
Yeah. God rest his soul.
Jesus Christ, I wish I fucked him.
Well, so during the by the end of the 1700s, the pistol started becoming the more popular weapon of choice. And here's a picture of the dueling pistol case you would have.
This old thing.
A real man, a statue, would have a case of with two dueling pistols.
You got a little hammer in there.
Yeah, you got to get the thing in there.
A mallet, and you got like an ice pick in case the pistol doesn't work.
Way to probably tamp something down.
Yeah. You got to front load the fucking thing.
Yeah, and then you got that like it looks like a whoopee cushion or something.
That's the gunpowder.
That's the gunpowder, yeah.
Pliers if there's any tooth issues. Then that's
which there are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. And then we got ourselves a pipe cleaner.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I think that.
Now that's in case you suck somebody's eyeball up with your urethra.
Yeah. I think that is like the brush to clean the barrel, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we got some sort of drill bit here. And lucky snail shell. That's always good. You're not going to lose with that.
Keep that right in your pocket.
That's probably a cork for the barrel, if I had to guess.
Interesting.
Interesting.
A lot of
If you
tools.
wanted to explode your face.
No, you're saying that's kind of the bullet is the cork?
Well, the bullets weren't
No.
invented until the the 1800s.
So we had corks, is what you're saying.
No, they usually it was a musket ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but not a truly rifled bullet. That may be some other type of thing that they put in there.
That's nice.
But it looks like a cool bullet from the motion picture Wanted.
Aha.
Yeah, now it's got, but maybe it is.
Now, hold on. Before we get into dueling with pistols, can we take a quick break?
Yeah, of course.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. And we're back. Now, Matt, it's Pistol 30, man.
Yes, it is. It's
Pistol time.
so for example, a sampling of 306 Irish duels fought in 19 years between 1771 and 1790. This is from Hollis' book. I like most things in this. They found that the pistol was becoming the most used weapon and becoming more popular than swords. And one of the results of this is that way more people were dying.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because you could have a doctor, patch up a sword stab.
Yeah, they didn't even know where to find it. It was so thin.
Yeah, but the metal ball was much more dangerous.
Devastating.
If you got hit in the arm or the leg, the doctor sawed off the offended limb and you died of gangrene. A torso shot could cause the bowels to discharge copiously and involuntarily. One recorded Canadian case, at this point, the victor and both the seconds fled the island and left the poor man to wallow bleeding in the mess.
Good God.
Bleeding in a heap of your own shit and piss.
Of the
No thanks.
Of the 306 Irish duels between 1771 and 1790, 65 instant deaths, 16 mortal wounds, these are ones fought with pistols, 94 with one man injured, 24 with both, 98 or less than a third ended bloodlessly. In England, the death rate was 1 in 14. In Ireland, it was 1 in 4.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's because they gave us the best medical service.
Right.
There is
I think they just kept shooting.
That is.
Anyways, I come in, I start blasting.
That is also an aspect of it.
Now we're not done until we're done.
I'll tell you now, I've got a few more balls.
I'd like to have a few more words with you.
It's interesting they stopped 1790 because one of the major rebellions would come 1798. That was the Wolfe Tone Rebellion, and Wolfe Tone was a Protestant, and that was one of the Protestant-led rebellions against the crown.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that gentlemanly debate maybe took a backseat to,
Warfare?
warfare.
Well,
Stop this killing and start killing.
Oh, I see what you're saying about the statistics of the duels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, it
was crushed, of course.
Naturally. In 1777, the Irish, there's someone in Irish, publishes the Irish Code Duello, and it's an updated version of the original Code Duello.
Now here's the thing.
These dirty Italians don't have nothing to do with this.
And and this is right after pistols became more common than swords, so it's kind of a written update to the newest version of dueling.
Dueling for Dummies 2.0 now.
Yes, and it states that the first offense requires the first apology, though the retort may have been more offensive than the insult.
You're a fucking liar. No, I'm not. Well, I'm sorry you're such a bitch.
Is that how it is?
So here, for instance, A tells B he is impertinent. B retorts that he lies, yet A must make the first apology because he gave the first offense. And after one fire, B may explain away the retort by subsequent apology.
One fire? What do you mean?
So that could be a note, or it could be one shot of the gun.
Wait a minute. So you're saying I say something fucked up, you say something back, and then I either apologize or shoot?
Yes.
Holy fucking shit, that's nuts.
Honestly, pretty nice.
But you do have a chance. You do, by the code, you have a chance to apologize, but you have to do it first.
I'm giving you to the count of 3.
I'm sorry, man. I was in me cups.
My brain's not working right because I was blowing loads in your wife. I'm in a post-nut coma.
Yeah.
Me
I
apologies.
can't think straight.
If the parties would rather fight on, then after 2 shots each, but in no case before, B may explain first, and A apologize afterwards. And so it goes on with a lot, a bunch more explanations, and then it gets into things like the rules for the second. So the seconds have to make sure that they're doing the agreed upon things. The seconds bring the accusation to either the other person's second or to the other person themselves, and they have a choice whether to accept it or to not accept it.
Yes.
And then whoever the one who is who's told that they're being accused or they're being asked to duel, basically. The one who is asked is the one who gets to choose the weapons, the time, the place.
No, and would there be a variety of weapons?
You could choose any weapon you wanted.
Proximity mines.
Even
Temple.
power weapons complex, no odd job. It would be
Pretty much, yes.
Could you do whatever? What did Raphael have? Size.
You could probably do size.
You could do size.
You got to get
be a
those
fucking
imported
idiot.
from Japan.
Yeah, you
what
could
about
do that.
what about darts?
Well,
Sure.
Fucking Irish.
Dart and dueling.
Bastard.
What?
Fucking darts.
Here's a fucking pool cue. We'll break it in half.
And see who really wants to join the team.
So there's a thing where the second would go up to the other second and he'd be like, he's after saying he's blowing loads in his wife. And then he goes, but sure, Jesus, he is blowing loads in his wife. And he goes, are you calling me a liar?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and there are cases of the seconds dueling.
Stirring it up.
Yeah. The seconds were
And then
often.
the third's got to be like, oh shit, fucking read the rule book.
Well, that's why they had to have rules about the seconds, because the seconds were usually. What would often happen is 2 guys, they would go through this whole song and dance, and by the time they both got to the dueling field, they'd be like, I really don't want to hurt you, but we got to do this. We gotta finish the duel.
There's a whole bunch of fanfare been made.
Yeah.
I've gotten my seconds are here. His whole fucking family's
Yes.
here. Everyone's I hired guys for this job.
And then, if one of them got hit, the other one would often be like, "Oh, I hope he doesn't die. He's a good lad. I meant no harm." But the seconds would be like, "Kill him, fucking kill this man." The seconds
Yeah.
were the guys emotionally removed from it because they only cared about their friends. But the actual people dueling eventually cared about the person they were dueling with. It was a thing that brought them together.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about that so much.
as intimate as you can get.
Yeah, when you fight, somebody and you're like, you just realize, man, this sucks.
And we both went through it.
But now here's the thing, Matt. And I'm taking some solace from this.
You're a soulless guy.
Solace, I guess. It was only a deal among the nobility. You said. So even in Ireland, this would be all fucking Englishmen doing this shit.
No. So as the history of dueling,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
but as the history of dueling expands and becomes
Trickles
less
down.
official, it's everybody is starting to get into it. It's not
Shit.
the noblemen anymore.
God damn it.
It's made its way down to the peasants.
It's the merchants and the bakers. It's and as we'll see in the United States, it's a varied crowd.
I would imagine that that tradition eventually, even in that book about honor, I'm sure there's a lot of crossover.
Oh, very, very much so. But it is in a similar vein to what you're saying, John. Let's see. A couple of English authorities advising on the choice of seconds said that you couldn't choose an infidel because he'd be happy to see Christian blood spill, or an Irishman because he'd be happy to see any blood spilled.
I'm just here for the spilling.
Now, the English saying that means English blood.
Yes. But he said any, but he means English.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. They're always just like, they're animals. They just, the paddy wagon, all that shit. All of, the conniving, Jewish guy propaganda that Hitler got was all from old periodicals
Sure.
of the Brits targeting the Irish. And they, like, you know, they had a thing there too because, like,
that's not something that's mentioned enough. Hitler took all his good ideas
From the English.
from the English about the Irish.
well, I wouldn't even say Hitler. I would say Goebbels.
Vegetarianism.
I would, yeah.
The Volkswagen.
It's already-
the Volkswagen.
Paddy wagon, Volkswagen, coincidence? Thing that.
Yeah, there was a thing of for somehow, believe it or not, typically the Irish were taller or bigger than the English.
What's that chromosome?
And then they had that thing where they were doing, you know, the black man thing in the media.
Yeah.
Where they were going, you gotta choose that they're either a conniving snake or they're just a big dumb brute. Yeah.
And often, and then, you know, it's both, depending on what
Depending on what race I am.
well, depending on what the message is that day.
Well, yeah,
In the same way that a fascist is always, they're always on being attacked, but they're unassailable.
oh right, yeah.
We're the victims, but we'll never be taken.
Well, it's with them. It's they go with the Americans or the Japanese. They go sneaky. The Nazis with the Jewish
rats, sneaky Jews,
and then Americans with the black male. It's the brutes. The British with the Irish male. Brutes. Yeah. So it's pretty much like two tracks you can go in the vilification of a minority.
A fun little anecdote about seconds. This is in France. In a duel between Lafrette and Du Chaillet, their seconds and thirds fought simultaneously with the principals, and then fourths were added when a messenger sent by the king to stop the fight decided instead to join in if opponent could please be provided.
If what?
Opponent could please be provided.
I'd like to join in. Well, that's the gosh, I think it was an Irish thing too that I heard, which is this a private fight or can anybody join in?
Yeah.
But so anyway, that would have been more of a sword thing. It's a little bit harder to. There's a little bit less fighting with pistols.
There was a firefight.
But as you made these transitions, there would be cafes in France that would carry both pistols and swords. So if someone was challenged at the cafe, they were able to give them whatever weapon they needed to go
Get all
settle the
hopped
challenge.
up on that good coffee.
Yeah.
You gotta fucking kill somebody.
And so eventually I showed you the picture of the dueling pistol. There were specific pistols. Initially the rifled barrel was considered unsporting.
Yes, because it's too accurate.
It's too accurate. And until the 1830s, most dueling pistols had a hair trigger.
Oh, and they had to be like fucking chaos weapons. So it was like a fucking a thing of chance.
Well,
with no skill at all.
Well, kind of. Knowing how to use a hair trigger is a form of skill. You would practice. Theoretically, you would practice the dueling with your friend, but there are stories of there's a duel with two men and they each have a hair trigger, and both the seconds die.
Oh God!
By getting hit by a stray bullet, which is
because you can beat.
I think we all learned something today.
That those men both deserved it.
According to God.
No.
Yeah, you can be accurate-ish with a ball, but a rifled, barrel and bullet, it's just,
also,
way more accurate.
Yes.
But also at how many paces, like in the Old West?
Well, okay.
Well, I know we'll get there.
So, and this is 1836. This is near the. But eventually there is a man just go by the name, or maybe a lady or non-gendered person, by the name of A Traveler, publishes a book called The Art of Dueling, and it instructs men how to prepare for duels.
I'm just passing through.
He says things. Don't
watch Clint Eastwood movies.
He says,
"Don't be like them."
Don't wake the wife and children; they might make a fuss.
Smart.
The gunfire won't do that.
Well, you're going to go to a field somewhere.
Yes.
Because you can't. If the authorities know about it, they will. They legally have to try to stop you.
Right. You can't go around shooting people. Right.
You have to go somewhere as agreed upon. Tell your physician, who will provide himself with all the necessary apparatus for tying up wounds or arteries or extracting balls.
You got to extract the balls so that you can put them on the eyes.
So along with the seconds, often a physician would accompany you to the field.
I love like a good mob doctor like this.
Yeah,
Like this is my cut man.
Yeah.
And on the way, the traveler.
Baby, I gotta go out tonight. I'm doing a duel thing.
Got a house call thing, babe.
These guys are gonna fuck each other up, man.
If on the way to the duel you're feeling queasy, the traveler writes that stop somewhere for a soda water or flavored with a small wine glass of brandy, which I can strongly recommend as the most grateful stimulant and corrective.
That's right. Calm the nerves. Steady the hand.
Yes.
Chill out, fool.
That's right.
Don't be weird.
And then
Normal.
Traveler also gets down to specifics. He says, gentlemen, stand with the right and left shoulder in a line with the object he wishes to hit. Head bent to the right, eyes fixed on the object. Feet should be almost close together. Left arm hanging down, his right holding the pistol with the muzzle pointing at the ground close to his feet. Keep his shoulders well back and his stomach drawn in. Then stamping his feet twice or thrice on the ground to feel he stands firmly. Let him raise his arm steadily, bending it at the elbow, drawing the pistol into a line with the object. Bring that part of the arm between the shoulder and the elbow close to the side. Throw the muscle strongly. Let it cover the breast as much as possible. 12 paces was the rule.
12 paces.
Yes.
Now, Matt, don't you think there's a thing here where you go like, why was everybody, first of all, so beholden to these rules written by a guy that doesn't even put his own fucking name on the book? And like, why was everybody so beholden to the rules in general? Especially if you're going out to a fucking field. Like, you could just kill the guy on the way to the field and be like, yeah, man, he lost the duel.
But everybody would know that.
Everybody, it's the physician and the 2 seconds.
They would tell.
But you could say that they all dueled each other and they lost.
Well, you'd have to kill them all.
This is, a world that is devoid of the rule of law.
Right.
And so you have to kind of...
it's all your reputation. I get it.
That's it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's... And if people say, well, he's a fucking cheat, he cheated at the duel, he killed a man,
because he
they
called
go,
him a liar.
well, okay.
He called him a liar and all.
Yeah. That's the thing, too. And, I think we talked about this, the ex-con thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was, some people like... dealing with like weed stuff or whatever. People being like, yeah, man, I deal with ex-cons. It's like all they have is their reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the most trustworthy people because like they're just like
they're in a place where word travels fast.
And they're in a place
all you have is the word.
Yeah.
Or you ever see how like the jails in Los Angeles, like when someone leaves and they don't have any clothes, they give them like a criminal's orange jumpsuit. And you're like, oh yeah, that person just came from jail. Like you already go, oh, there's someone that shouldn't be trusted. They look like they just came. It's just like they're already stigmatized.
Yeah.
You don't want to. You go okay, even though they might be a nice person, you already have this in your head to not deal with them.
But back then, in a time where it was like,
there's not a courthouse.
The money will be there tomorrow. That sort of thing. And you go like, and then the money was or it wasn't. And so, and you go like, all right, well, it is all very reputation and that would bear status.
And that trickles down into a lot of stuff about hillbilly culture and anywhere that's like excessively remote.
Yes.
It's like, well, then you just get people who fight a lot or people that are nomadic. They just fight a lot because there is not like a judicial body that adjudicates problems.
There's also a lot less going on, so there's a lot more time to talk about the other
and ruminate
and also just get suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I mean, this is a good time to explain their idea of honor, because really that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Honor.
There was a gentleman's letter. A gentleman's letter published in the Freeman's Journal said he would far rather see his son dead than find out he declined a challenge. The Lord Chancellor of Lifford proclaimed, "My honor is dearer to me than my life." Irish Attorney General John Scott wrote, "There are cases where it may be, and when it is prudent for man to fight a duel, cases of preserving malignity, cases of injured honor, cases of a wounded spirit, and a wounded spirit who can bear."
Yeah. Then they came out with semi-automatic pistols and high-powered rifles. And all of a sudden, honor's not so important.
Yeah, hiding was
hiding
good.
is good.
Hiding.
Well, not even. That's not how this will all end. But lastly, if you wanted to marry someone's daughter, one question they would ask would be, what family is he of? And the other one would be, did he ever blaze?
Did he ever blaze?
Like fucking ripping that weed, bro?
Did he ever duel? Because if you dueled, then you were a man of honor, and you could marry my daughter.
Wow.
Well, not my daughter, but that
I
guy's
dueled
daughter.
a dog once, sir.
I lost.
Yeah.
So
Then the king hangs me. It was a
the
whole kerfuffle.
rope ripped.
Yeah.
And then I dueled again, an old lady.
And then the dog that had won fucked my ass.
I don't
His
like
balls
that.
on
And
my
that
head.
felt good, Your Honor. Now, may I take your daughter's hand and
Yeah, I still have the dog.
I knew the dog first.
The dog wasn't gay until he met me.
So now I'd like to move to the Americas.
The New World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And America would become the king of duels, as
Right.
America does. If bloodshed is on the scorecard,
loves
we
kings, dude.
shall win.
Yeah.
In fact, America was so well known for dueling, there was a belief in Europe that there was a thing called the American duel. And the duel was that two men would draw lots, and whoever lost would just shoot himself.
Oh my God.
Like Russian roulette, the American duel.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, not even Russian roulette. There's one bullet.
Yeah.
And one chamber.
Yeah, there's always a bullet.
But no, this.
Oh, shit. My bad.
And at one point, Germany was so impressed with this in the late 1800s, they thought about making it their version too.
Oh God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if
We're
that?
going to make these scars much more interesting and far more permanent. The Americans have the upper hand.
Not for long.
Hans, how long is your...
How long is your matchstick? Let's draw lots by comparing our foreskins. Whosoever is the most anteater-like loses.
Whoever has the most successful space dock. Self-immolate.
All the Jews seem to be winning this game. I think a conspiracy is afoot, Hans.
So up until
circumcision
the 1890s, a popular way of starting a duel in America would be to post an article in a paper or post it on the wall of a tavern under the headline "A card," and then something accusatory about someone underneath it.
A card being the insult.
Yes.
It'd be like saying, like, if you like put up, you're like, a bitch.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I'd be like, Aaron's a bitch.
Yeah, or a liar,
Let me
or a
explain to
cheat.
you how.
Yeah.
A cad.
No, I think card is
Card.
It has nothing. It's not a card is not the insult. It's the title of the thing, right?
Oh, okay.
Is that-
I don't know. I didn't. I just assumed what John had said, but you could be correct.
I wonder, is a card an insult or is it like
I
notice?
remember somebody saying a card, like in like they're a pisser kind of way.
Oh, really?
They're a card.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I've never heard that.
Yeah. I've heard that.
I defer to you.
Oh no, I don't know. I think that might have evolved. A card might have evolved from that being like, hey, here's a person getting called out because they're a pisser, sort of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, like the idea of pre-internet being like,
Hear ye.
this he's something of a bitch,
Yeah.
and he lies too. And I'll tell you, I blew loads in his wife, and it felt good, and that felt good.
And despite her being
And I'd love to
a
paint.
dog.
I'd love to paint some eyeballs on my balls, and just dangle them over his deceased corpse.
So one of the informal definitions is a person of odd or amusing. So
A card.
Yes, a card. So you could say this is someone who doesn't belong.
Got it.
Cast them out.
This guy's a real joker.
If you got a white man at your job,
Put him
put
out.
him out.
In America, duels were fought by everybody. There was no nobleman about it.
And that is the American
Yes.
dream.
There would be, of course, politicians. We obviously know some famous ones. Politicians are near the top of the list. Newspaper editors might be the top of the list.
Are you shitting me?
Well, they're the ones.
They're the ones that can publish
the
stuff.
most shit-talkingest motherfuckers of all time.
Yeah, and also high on the list would be doctors.
Yeah.
And we will get to some of those later.
With the Hippocratic Oath, too. Fucking idiots.
Well, you're in the hospital. You're not supposed to do harm, but when you're on that field,
you can beat your wife, do whatever you want.
Eventually, in 1838, duels are outlawed in D.C., but they would just go to
Baltimore. Baltimore.
Yeah. Or Maryland. South Carolina.
Virginia.
South Carolina was very pro-duel. The governor of South Carolina, in 1838, he publishes an American version of the Code Duella, and it sells. It's reprinted for 20 years. It sells so well. And he writes that duels will be persisted in as long as a manly independence and a lofty personal pride and all that dignifies and ennobles the human character shall continue to exist. South Carolina actually had the first official dueling club in America.
Hey.
And it's the president, the man in charge of it, was renowned for being such a fantastic dueler. He had won like 10, 15 duels and killed some men. And then one day, an Englishman shows up into town to look at some property that this Englishman's wife had apparently bought.
Land? When you say property, do you mean land?
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Well, no, it just says property, so maybe. And at some point, the Englishman and the president of this dueling society, they get into some sort of spat, and the club president of the dueling society challenges the Englishman. The Englishman says his country's reputation is at stake, so he says, "I'll do it." And the other members of the dueling society go to the Englishman's house and say, "Don't do it. This guy's fucking
Dude, he's nuts.
Listen here, buddy. He's the best dueler this side of the Mississippi. I say."
So the Englishman and the dueling man meet at a field, and the Englishman kills him.
Whoa.
And the dueling man, as he's dying at his deathbed, he tells the rest of the club, "You got to disband this club."
This is a terrible idea.
I mean, what kind of place has it where you can just kill the leader of a club on random accusation?
Yeah, how about this?
I've made a grave mistake.
Anytime you open yourself to getting gunned down by some sissy Englishman, you just open yourself up. Where's the honor in that?
And I've been thinking, we shouldn't be able to own people anymore. I'm really coming to terms with that.
No, North Carolina had a far better thing because they would settle disputes by just taking their shirts off and twisting them around their head and spinning them like a helicopter.
That's right. That was Petey Pablo.
It was a far better system.
Yes, Peter Pablo the Third.
Peter Pablo, yeah.
That's right.
Now, North Carolina, I want you to take your shirt off.
And twist
I'll twist it around your head. And now spin it like
a helicopter.
The helicopter hasn't been invented yet.
Unless, of course, you count Leonardo da Vinci.
But, yeah, Leonardo da Vinci, he did some very illustrative illustrations.
Do it like the Italian fella draws it.
Ooh.
Gotta love that one-hit wonder. It's the gift that keeps on paying.
It gets me so psyched up. It gets me
North Carolina.
I'm gonna raise up. Take your shirt off. Put it around your head. Spin like a helicopter.
Dude, that's like, yeah.
Yes, all of that.
It's better than like shaking like a salt shaker.
And then it's like 400 people doing that in not glamorous areas.
No, and they stink. But they all like levitate because they're doing it like a helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
it's like a helicarrier.
Yeah.
They're all ages of shield.
Yeah.
So a day after this guy was buried, they disbanded the club.
Really? Is it just because the wrong guy won?
Yeah.
Well, because the leader of the club said this is a bad idea.
I tell you, I've been doing thinking. It's coming to me new. This whole thing is fucked up.
Ever since I took this mortal bullet in the chest.
I used to feel so much honor and pride, but dying here like a dog.
So South Carolina was, there's a lot of dueling there, and the politicians in D.C. and south of D.C. But one of the most duelingest places in America was New Orleans.
Oh.
No?
Yes. And this place called the Oaks. The Oaks has these giant trees that is still there today.
Oaks?
Yeah, the Oaks. And it was...
Pine trees as far as you could see.
No, these big, and some days there'd just be a line of 12 people, each dueling each other, just in this.
God.
I think it's called a war.
No, but it would just be one-on-one. They wouldn't be dueling these other people. It'd just be 12 people dueling 12 other people, and that's it.
Just a good spot for dueling.
And hundreds of spectators would come out. The Times Democrat newspaper reported from 1834 to 1844, there was at least one duel every day at this park.
Jesus Christ.
On one occasion, the spectators became so agitated at the duel that they stormed in and started stabbing each other.
Jesus fucking. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why don't you motherfuckers shooting at each other?
Well, we got down in the swamp and nobody.
There was so much trees around.
No, it was killing right. And so we said to ourselves, we're going to show you how the bayou, how swamp things are settled.
That's right. Let's bring it back to swamp law.
Yeah.
We do our things a little bit differently down here.
Yeah.
You might find yourself in the mouth of a gator.
Yeah. I said, why don't you do the gator?
And if you don't take your shirt off and you don't twist around your head and spin like a helicopter,
you down to drown.
you broke rule number 1s, 2s, and 3s of swamp law.
No, you taking in by the green.
That's right. You taking in the green.
You going deep.
And then you get down there. And
it's swamp law.
It's swamp law and the syrupy spoils.
I don't care what volume of El Dulo you got in your back pocket.
All I care about is Alan Moore's Swamp Thing volumes 1, 2, and 3.
You in the death roll. That gator got you in a spin cycle.
Like a helicopter. The gator follows the rules. Why don't you follow the rules? The gator takes his shirt off, bites your arm off, and swings around like a head.
It's the same as up there in the North Carolina.
That's right. It's not too different, us and theirs. Down here in the swamp.
You made so many syllables of swamp.
Swamp. The green.
So New Orleans also had a lot of fencing schools, because there's the French connection.
French management.
Creole. And the fencing masters would duel each other all the time. And so what happens is, like, sometimes a fencing master would duel another fencing master. Whoever won got to get all the pupils.
Of course.
From the other place, right?
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing seems to me to be a system of getting more shit from people in a very scurrilous way.
Yeah, it seems to be a history of the human race.
But
at least it's a challenge, and now you're not just burning down their house in the middle of the night.
Well, I mean, we talk about the lottery being predatory. This is like a 2-man lottery where it's like, if I win, I get your shit based on pure luck, basically.
No, but here's the thing. You say that now. When we get to the end, and I should say, I'm going to finish telling the history of dueling, and we have a whole section of a list of my favorite duels throughout history. And they're my favorite, not because they were good duels.
No.
But because they were the best duels.
Oh, man. I have to imagine many of them include animals.
My favorite one does. And I'm saving that to the end.
Please be a gator.
But I see what you're saying, John. But we will come back to that when we finish the history, because you make an interesting point. Now, I do want to say this. There was one fencing master who actually maintained his own graveyard. No one knows if all the people he killed were in the graveyard, but it is a nice place to put them.
Behold my stuff.
But there's also so much dueling happening in New Orleans that the doctors would argue over the best way to treat people, and they would duel.
I see.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That is bananas.
It's fantastic.
The best way to treat
and then
a bullet wound is to pack it tight with a syrupy spoim of a gator. You liar. What?
Also,
I challenge you to a duel, you unscrupulous quack.
Also, the outcome of their duel would fuel the research that...
And drum up business.
Hopefully, Hopefully something was
damn.
learned from all
Or at
of
least
that.
get all his shit.
He's doing it while he's still talking. His dude's still bleeding out. And he goes, "See, nah, I
told you the best
told
way."
you.
You see, the reason you survive is because I use my method.
You're bleeding like a stuck pig, and you wanted me to put, what was it, wheat paste all over the wound?
A poultice of maize.
you must've-
What kind of crazy shit? You ever heard the most crazy shit in your life, Barles? You gotta put a poultice of maize in a man's bullet wound.
I don't care.
Man, I'm saving your life.
I don't care what
motherfucker.
kind of delirious shaman you got that from.
Up there in North Carolina. I'm not gonna take my shirt off, stick it in your wound, treat it like a helicopter.
So now, perhaps the most duelingist profession though was the newspaper editor, because
Talk to most shit.
well, especially in the 1800s,
Yellow
slavery,
journalism and-
anti-slavery, pro-slavery. There were legacy newspaper editors. You know, their dad was the guy who started the paper. They're the ones who took it over.
Right.
They have
And they have a mouthpiece.
they have a mouthpiece and a rivalry. And they can just say shit, or someone can print something anonymously, and someone shows up and says, "I'll kill everybody here unless you tell me who did that." And
It was a traveler.
I was a traveler. I was going to say.
one San Francisco editor posted above his door, "Subscriptions received from 9 to 4. Challenges from 11 to 12 only."
Holy shit.
Nice.
There's an editor.
Damn.
An editor in Virginia described the job of being an editor as thus. Let's see. Where are you?
So you got to get that story from Kent. Damn it, Kent.
Clark? I needed that story on my desk no later than 11. You know that I have to take dueling challenges from 11 to 12. Where's Miss Lane?
Johnson, give me 500 words on crap in your pants. Douglas, something about urine stain mattresses. Was some artwork, like a think piece.
Thank God my second is Clark Kent.
1850s, he wrote, "The Virginia editor is a young, unmarried, intemperate, pugnacious, gambling gentleman. Between drink and dueling pistols, he is generally escorted to a premature grave. If he so far withstands the ravages of brandy and gunpowder as to reach the period of gray hairs and cautiousness, he is deposed to make room for a youth who hates his life with utter hatred, who can't keep drunk for more than a week at a time."
Oh, my God.
Dude, that is great.
As a man who lived long enough to write that.
Yes.
I'll tell you what
It means it's time for a new editor.
Jesus Christ.
Was all news fucking basically One America News everywhere all the time?
Shit talking, yeah.
Just ugly, bitter, riling up shit all the time everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I guess some things don't change.
in some ways.
You know, the thing of, they would say, this many people killed this many blacks.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, to gauge how much of a tragedy it was.
Right, yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I guess
just
it wasn't.
bold on its face. Just like being like, this is what we think matters. This is what we think does. Like, yeah, fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Now, after the Civil War, dueling largely dissipated, especially in the South. Courts of honor were opened, and money was found to be worth the price of a life instead.
Now, I understand you called me a bitch. That's worth about $5.
I'll buy that for $1.
Because it didn't, the landed aristocracy didn't have as much power without people to work it.
That's right.
And so it became, gambling became a source of honor instead of dueling. The stock market,
Interesting.
collecting money became the lifestyle as opposed to the gentlemanly thing.
Yes.
But of course, as the white man moved west, he brought the duel with him. But because it was a lawless territory,
Relatively speaking.
with the white man, and the duels also the rules of the duels fell to the wayside, and so instead of duels, they mostly had gunfights.
Right.
Yeah.
And those, once the rules are thrown out, it's not a duel anymore. Wild Bill Hickok had one of the few real duels where two guys meet and there's a rule and you shoot at 75 yards.
Draw.
Or 75 paces. The final duels in the West were actually usually fought by editors over slavery, pro-slavery and anti-slavery.
Wow.
In the West?
Yes.
Interesting.
I saw that fallout from the Civil War, and then those being like
slave states.
A lot of
new states.
And a lot of the Confederate soldiers that were like, okay, fuck it, go west. Because so that's why so much of the Wild West guys were former Confederate.
Mark Twain almost fought a duel because of something he wrote in the paper. Some friends, he was going to duel, and some friends were trying to teach him, and he was so bad at shooting, he missed the barn. That
Stick to writing.
That he got really sick and he couldn't make the duel, and eventually he had to flee town. He said he fled town 4 horsewhippings and 2 duels later owed to him.
Oh my God! I wonder if that's what you can't hit a barn.
The broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, but this is what he had to write about duels. He wrote, "I've never had anything to do with duels since. I consider them unwise, and I know they are dangerous, also sinful. If a man should challenge me now, I would go to that man and take him kindly and forgivingly by the hand and lead him to a quiet spot and kill him."
Let me show you something. I got something to tell you. It's right over here behind this big
Here's the
giant
thing.
tree.
Yeah, you're not gonna believe this.
This is going to be
You're really
great.
gonna like this. Now, this
Well, it's funny that I went to.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck are you doing?
I was driving through Northern California recently.
Noise?
And right there outside of Calaveras County, made famous by Mark Twain. And there's the Mark Twain house up there. It's a historic landmark, and it's right outside of a place called Glory Hole.
Right.
That's right. I think I
town called Glory?
Yeah, I sent you pictures. There's a place called Glory Hole Center. There's the Glory Hole Emporium.
Holy shit!
Dude, it's fucking Glory Hole Mecca up there. And I wonder, do you think that he led guys out in the woods like, well, I'm just a simple Mark Twain, and I don't want to shoot nobody.
Something's going to get blown.
I know you want to duel me, but let me take you out to this special place in the woods. It's called Glory Hole. And you know what happens out here in the Glory Hole?
You know what we gotta do is go to the bathroom of this here bird dines. There's a
shoot
glory hole.
Shoot one right in my face.
Come check. No, all you got to do is come bang.
Yeah, bang, or
Something gets shot.
Can we take a quick break?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
I got 5 minutes.
So, but as time ticked on in the United States, more places outlawed duels and actually started enforcing those rules. And
Rules over duels.
yeah, you could be arrested. There would be guys who throughout town the word was going, these two guys were going to duel, and so the police would arrest them to stop them, and they would pay their bond, and then they would go to another state and duel or something.
Yeah.
Or they would.
Well, that's the thing too. You think about the women back then, and you go like, all right, it's the drinking and then the gambling,
The whoring.
and the whoring, and now they also kill each other.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the sheriff like,
Do something.
dude, like, you guys are gonna have to fuck each other. 'Cause
Right.
we're out.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
There's not enough non-white people in this town for you to harass, sir. You gotta start arresting.
just like you guys are like the women are gonna leave. You can't can't abuse everything.
Well, it's not like they have anywhere to go.
They're little boys.
Now, so as it slowly petered out in the United States, in Europe, it still had some moments. French newspapers, at least 2 of them, opened fencing salons for their writers. Artists, politicians, and journalists in France were.
Everybody calm down. It's getting too heated up in here. Go down to the fencing parlor
Right.
and settle this like a gentleman.
Yeah.
And the German army always basically like wrote it into their rules that you should be a dueler. And I should add the American army, I believe, the Code Duello was part of the handbook until like the 1860s.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was very standard, along with like a pint of whiskey a day.
Now, what about the National Hockey League?
That comes later.
Okay.
But much like the Civil War, in Europe after World War I, the duel was largely unnecessary, considering how many men had died.
Yeah, considering a quarter of the male population of Europe died in World War I.
Yeah.
But to go back to the what you said earlier, John, about
Getting shit.
yeah, and Barbara Holland, she ends the book with this note. She says, and I looked up this stat for this book was from 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6 or 7, I don't know. In 2020. 19,384 people were murdered with guns. Obviously, more people in America. More people committed suicide. Yes.
Yes.
But that's how many people were murdered with guns. As Holland says, she says, surely we can be thankful that none of this happened in duels with seconds and doctors around.
Yeah.
Right.
They were spur of the moment, and she says somehow we've flipped the rules. Somehow that is more acceptable than two guys walking up to a hill and solving their problem with only them fighting.
Yeah, somehow crimes of passion and straight up murder is more acceptable than two people consenting to kill each other.
Yes.
Yeah, well, if you throw in the amount of people killed by cops, that might change too.
Yes, because
I think you need to throw out suicide right away.
It's
Sure,
yeah,
yes,
you
yes.
do.
I think that's the right thing for her.
But
to
it's
do.
it's also the murder of privilege. That's what we're talking about here.
Well, I think we could do with a.
So I would say, well, yeah, no, I mean, if I'm the Irishman, I'm going like, fucking, all you fucking landowners, dude, you can all fucking do this all day, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's her thing is going like, oh yeah, this is. I don't know if she's saying that's when it was better, and I guess it was, but it's like. Yeah, but all those people that didn't have to work made everybody else at the bottom more desperate and have to use a gun for more desperate means.
That's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
All the people that don't. I mean, all these crimes that happen with guns now are not happening by upper class people.
No, exactly. The crime of the upper class people is making them do it by driving them to desperation, by not giving them any money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Forcing them to kill each other.
So in a way, they're winning. You know, they're like,
ain't that the same old song and dance?
Weird.
They're like, man, I initiated like 300,000 duels
Just by virtue of low wages.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff Bezos is the duelingest man I've ever seen.
How many duels has the Walton family enabled over the past 30 years?
Sometimes in the store.
Exclusively. Those are just store numbers, pal.
Yeah. Can we do one?
Yes, and let's come back and I will...
You'll regale us with your favorites.
my favorite duels.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. And we're back.
So,
Now, see here, 007. If you were to take your shirt off,
Yes.
raise it up, twist it around your head, and spin it like a helicopter,
You might find that you're like Mary Poppins or something.
flying up into the air, over the Thames River, down onto the head of Dr. No, snapping it thus.
Safely landing on Odd Jobs vertebrae.
No need of any proximity mines or poison mobile
good
planes.
job. So we're going to start with the early duels. And this is from France in the let's say it's the 1600s. Comte de Bouteville. What he would do is he would go around town looking for swordsmen and people to fight, and if he couldn't find them, he would just approach someone at church and say, "I understand, sir, you're a brave man. I'd like to allow you to prove it. What are your weapons?" And that guy would go, "Ah, fuck, I gotta." Hi, honey. I'm gonna be late or never show up for dinner. I gotta go.
Fetch the second.
I'm going to be late or the late.
or the there's a great one from also from France. Vallon Lagarde. He was a celebrated duelist.
He was a valiant guard.
Yeah. And the newspapers they would write about all of these fights, and you'd become famous. And so then it's very much like the guy. People would be like, well,
were they going after those French editors?
Well, yes. Well, but usually the editors went after editors. Usually that was
Jesus Christ, man.
Sometimes people who felt they were libeled would go after editors. But so Valjean Lagarde, he was celebrated because he was such a winner. I'm
the winner.
And there was a man named Bazanez, who was jealous of his winning. So he sent him a hat with a feather in it, and as a challenge with a note saying, to wear it in peril of his life. And so Lagarde put the hat on, and he swaggered around town, and they met in town, and they duel. And this is just two
with the guy he never met.
Two random guys.
Wear it. You won't.
But you got to take the challenge.
Or I'll stop reading your piece of shit rag.
Oh no! The guard is just a guy that's celebrated in the paper. He's not the editor.
Right. He's not the editor. He's just a guy who's celebrated in the paper. And because he's celebrated in the paper, this one guy says...
This guy's going like, I want a piece of that.
Yes. And so he sends him a hat with a feather as a challenge, saying, "Wear
macaroni.
Wear it if you're if you're
get the balls.
If you're keen."
So they meet, and Lagarde hits Bazanez over the head, and Lagarde lunges again. He said, Holland Reds. Lagarde lunged again with his sword, crying, "This is for the hat." And then he hits him again. "This is for the feathers." And then again, "This is for the tassels." And Bazanez was bleeding hard but rallied, felled Lagarde, and stabbed him 14 times in the neck and chest, saying, "I am giving you a scarf to wear with the hat." And
oh my God.
While he was stabbing away, Lagarde bit off a part of his chin and then fractured his skull with the pommel of his sword.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ in heaven.
At this point, both men fainted from loss of blood and were carried away. But then they both rallied and they lived to pick more fights.
Oh my God.
And that's why I use the sword instead of the gun.
Yeah, it's more exciting.
You get stabbed 14 times.
You bit off a piece of a dude's chin?
Crush his skull in with the pommel of the sword.
I bet they were friends
after that. They became lovers.
Yeah, you don't forget that.
Doing some fucking.
Lagarde almost killed the guy. I love him.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind if you put a feather in my cap.
You could stab me a few more times, but maybe below the waist.
You might call it splackaroni. No?
God damn. He's French, God damn it.
Yeah.
In 1606, the painter Caravaggio, he lost a tennis match.
Shit.
So he challenged...
They're playing tennis back then?
He challenged his partner, he fought him, and then he killed him.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what kind of
How
tennis
about another
play.
game?
Yeah.
Well, the game was dueling. The next game was dueling.
Yeah, he's like, I suck at tennis. I better shoot this dude.
No, he stabbed him.
How are you ever gonna How are you going to get good?
Well, you get a
You
better
get better
partner.
at dueling.
Yeah, you get a better partner. That's how you get good.
His tennis game plateaued. His sculpting went through the roof.
Matt, we talked about this before, I think, and this is a weird sidebar, but you might know
it's thick.
As a
oh, sorry, different story.
No, it was a different story.
Yeah.
I know that.
Thank you.
Uncut.
The thing which I don't know if it's true. It's just something I heard.
Yes, it is.
That lacrosse was invented to settle native tribes' disputes in lieu of warfare.
Yeah, I believe that is generally accepted as the truth.
All right, and very big in the Northeast and you're my kind of thing.
The savages.
Oh, right, yeah, but like one of those things where you go like, Jesus Christ, man, like, presumably the tribal elders would be like, well, we don't need to lose our young.
Yes.
And they go like, how about this? Silly net sticks and net goal and like let's just
then duel after that.
I know, but you can also play. You can also be like, oh well, there was the Mayan ball game where the winners were willingly the winners died. In the Mayan ball game, when you won, you willingly went to your death.
Right. But what I'm saying is, it was a way out was creating a sport. And instead, the dueling thing was just continuing this thing, and it was
creating sport out of war,
out of death,
and yes.
It's especially, I guess, brought to light to me in that thing with the tennis thing.
Yeah, and Holland has she points out, the anecdote of the carrying the heads around if they win the duel, and she said it's very weird that the English would do that and then be shocked when the Indians kept scalps. She's like, that seems like a much easier way to.
Yeah, less weight to carry around, carry more scalps.
Wait, hold on. Who started scalps first?
Well, no,
in America.
Really?
As far as I know.
Well, I thought the whole thing with scalps and the Native Americans, according, of course, to Harry Carey on SNL, was, to get the most rare scalp or whatever. Like, well, you would bring it back to like the military, right?
It eventually became a form of
currency,
proving
genocidal payment.
Yeah, beaver pelts and native scalps. Yeah, but I think scalping was not a European invention.
Right. But
we can't invent everything.
Yeah, removing the liver was
we brought that to the table.
That was a Western one.
And eating it.
Yeah.
There was
check out the liver eating Johnson episode.
Actually,
folks.
I think that was actually also not a European invention.
Maybe.
There was the Italian duelist who killed his opponent and then was challenged one by 3 of the dead man's friends. He killed them all.
Oh my God!
Good God Almighty!
It's just that's a whole podcast they lost.
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
200 episodes.
Yeah.
Down the drain.
Nothing more devastating than a sentence that goes, "He killed them all."
You imagine being that 4th guy, being like, "What? Why am I? I have no friends left. Why am I even? I guess why
I join your crew?
I might as well go through with this now."
I'm on your side.
Can we draw lots?
Yeah. There was Colin writes, the stalwart Neapolitan who fought 20 duels over whether Dante was a greater poet than Aristo. Are you
saying Aristotle?
Aristo. Yeah.
Aristo.
And then eventually.
Well, I think we know the answer is Dante.
Eventually, he was forced to admit that he hadn't read either of them.
Oh, God.
The guy who won 20 is like, dude, I've never even read. I'm a dueler, not a reader, you fucking asshole.
This whole thing over honor.
Yeah.
And nobody has that.
You haven't even read them, you liar.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Dante.
Fell right into my trap.
God.
In 1690 in Ireland, the High Sheriff of County Down had an argument with a neighbor over dinner, and they fought with sword and pistol. One was run through with a sword, the other was shot. Both died. This is just, elegant. Simplicity is elegant sometimes.
Yes, it really is.
Less than a year after signing the Declaration of Independence, the representative of the state of Georgia, Button Gwinnett, he died in a duel. Which is, it's independent for you.
Independent of life.
Hey. Now, there's one by this guy named John Randolph. I'm going to save that for a Patreon. I have a few I'm saving for a Patreon because we need a little bit. Also, why there's no dueling in Iceland. I was saving that for a Patreon.
So slippery. You never learn to mind your surroundings. As a Batman.
Everybody's dueling the volcano.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah. It's
end of list.
Yeah. Bjork.
Nice.
This is God. I told someone this at a party over the weekend, and they said it was depressing, and I just knew that I wasn't.
All right.
I just
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
In 1808, Monsieur de Grand Prix and Monsieur Lupic called over an actress who was supposed to be the former's mistress, but got caught in a compromising position with the latter. Because they said they had, quote, elevated minds, they agreed to fight an elevated duel. From a field next to Tuileries, I don't know why I say it like that, Tuileries, they rose up in a pair of hot air balloons.
An elevated duel.
Each with a second and a supply of blunderbusses, since pistols would have been up to the job. A great crowd gathered to watch what they thought was a balloon race. The wind stood fair from the north-northwest. The balloonists managed to stay within roughly 80 yards of each other, and when they had risen about 2,500 feet, Monsieur Lepic fired and missed. Monsieur de Grand Prix fired back, apparently not at his opponent, but at the more obvious target, his balloon.
Yes!
It dropped like a stone and smashed the duelist in seconds to pieces on the housetops. Triumphant, the victor soared majestically off into the sky, descending unhurt 20 miles away.
Ha!
Descending
and I will continue
unhurt.
to fuck your wife. Like, how do you shoot the fucking giant thing keeping the guy afloat?
Yeah. Well, that would be ungentlemanly.
Fuck that. You're already fucking each other's girlfriends.
As they cascaded to the ground, they were going like, "We were the gentlemen here."
Yeah. And friends, I want you to know that we're dying valiantly as we crash into a million pieces.
And my wife was not plowed.
Sir, I plowed her. Fuck you!
'Tis you who are the ungentlemanly. God damn it. Yes, of course. Shoot the fucking balloon.
Yes.
Also,
What a rich thing to do. That's like a private jet fight.
Yeah. Private shit.
did it also like ignite like a huge inferno where these guys burned the whole way down? Like,
No,
it was
it's
full of,
It's just hot. It's just hot air.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not like a hydrogen blimp. It's just
Got
hot
it.
air.
that'd be cool though. How about the second in that situation?
I should have never fucking trusted y'all, motherfucker.
Fucking idiot.
He's like, shoot the balloon. Oh.
I told you to shoot the balloon, fucking asshole.
There's a place in I believe is Maryland, just right near D.C., where most of the D.C. duels were fought. Bloody Bladensburg, it was called, because there were over 100 duels fought there.
Oh.
There was a little brook next to it. It would eventually be called Blood Run.
Ran red with blood.
One of my favorites is 1819, Armistead T. Mason, age 28. He was elected to the U.S. Senate, which is technically illegal because you have to be 30. But and no one is sure.
Not if you're talking my spike, mister.
He didn't serve until he was 30, but he was elected at 28.
No one is sure what the exact reason is, but his third cousin, Colonel John McCarthy, disapproved of something he had done. McCarthy sends a challenge to Mason, but in the challenge, he sets the terms for when they will duel, and Mason says, well, I'll duel you, but you just got to send me the correct dueling.
Yeah.
You got to send me a challenge, and then I set the terms.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah. What are we doing with chopsticks here, Chief? Come on.
No wonder you're 28, kid.
Fucking idiot.
McCarthy then posts in the local paper around town that Mason is a coward. Mason's friends convince him to ignore the whole thing, and then Mason does, at the time, maybe it seemed like the right move, but he gets in a carriage with Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson, a man famous for dueling, usually over the honor of his wife.
Who was a whore.
And never lost a duel, but may have cheated in some. And Jackson convinces Mason that he has to take the duel.
You gotta do it, dude. My wife's been sleeping around.
And Mason sends his seconds to McCarthy to say, okay, I'll fight you. McCarthy doesn't accept it because he says Mason's not worthy. Then the seconds insulted started fighting each other.
Nice.
Smart.
And one of them threatened to post stuff about McCarthy if he didn't accept, so it was accepted.
Nudes. Nude drawings.
And the first proposal that McCarthy sent to Mason was that he and Mason should just jump off the dome of the Capitol together.
That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yes, and it's contrary to the Code Duello.
Yeah, there's strict no jumping off the dome of the Capitol.
There's a no suicide policy
Yeah.
of this fucking murder guide.
Well, you and me, we Thelma and Louise this thing. We know we're in love with each other.
We're third cousins. We're from Virginia. We know what's happening.
We could rent hot air balloons, but why waste some money?
The second proposal McCarthy sends is that they should fight across a barrel of gunpowder.
That's fucking theatrical.
How about we butt fuck each other to death?
Yeah.
Let's do
Because
that.
if you're both standing on the barrel of gunpowder and you shoot the barrel, you're both dead.
Yes.
So this guy just wants to die with this.
It sounds like something.
I think
like
he was
that.
in love with him.
You know what we should do is just get in our own hot air balloon.
What if we
and
had
we just fire upwards?
And we just fire up.
What if we had a hot air balloon in my bedroom?
What if I only could make a duel with God?
Yeah.
You ever do one of those hot air balloons, but like it's just on the ground?
And you just
You're the
put
fire.
the barrel
I'm
in
the
the other guy's
balloon.
mouth and
Yeah.
pull the trigger. And then by barrel, I mean,
I bet that feels good.
So the second said no fighting over this gunpowder. So then it was suggested hand-to-hand combat with daggers. That was disallowed. Finally, it was agreed muskets with buckshot at 10 feet.
Nice.
They then changed it to a single ball at 12 feet instead of 10.
okay. All right, the rules keep fucking changing. Can't try to keep up here.
Wait, what were the new rules? Tell me again.
Muskets at 12 feet with a single shot instead of buckshot.
Okay.
Mason wore a big coat. They stood. Their muzzles were almost touching. Mason was literally blown away.
Ugh.
McCarthy, though badly wounded in the arm, survived. One source says Mason missed his shot because as he raised his musket to fire, got tangled in the skirts of his overcoat.
Oh, God, I got tangled in
My stuff's too big.
my clothes don't fit.
But then for the rest of his life, McCarthy would feel bad about it.
Talk about the boy.
And when he died, apparently his ghost went back to Bladensburg. It can be seen brooding there. Also brooding there, this is a fun one. The ghost of Francis Scott Key's son Daniel, age 20, who died there following an argument with a friend about the relative speed of two steamboats they were watching.
Holy
Man, I'm
shit.
telling you, this one's going faster. No, it's
Oh,
not.
man, that one's far away.
You are a liar.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know if you know
Do you know who my father is?
Yeah.
No. No, I know you're lying.
Yeah.
We must fight.
We must.
Frankie Scotty!
Frankie Scott, keep him.
The story of Congressman Spencer Petit, I'll save that one. But no, we're going to move to New Orleans.
No. Biggie!
At a dinner party, Bien-Aimé Christ du Luzon moved his sister's chair too close to the chair of Monsieur Moreau's lady friend.
Oh, boy.
Monsieur Moreau called him out to the balcony, slapped him with a glove. 2 days later, they had a duel, and Monsieur Moreau killed the man.
Because of chair touching?
The chair was too close, John.
This chair is too close.
Whoa.
Trope close.
Too small.
Damn.
It was a duel in place, you know.
It's kind of one of those things like, I'm just waiting for a reason to execute this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Dude, move this chair one motherfucker.
You know who's got to go? That motherfucker that...
Mhm.
Oh, you touching shit? Yep.
Come outside for a minute. Let me talk to you outside. I got a secret
I'm
for you.
gonna slap the shit out of you with this big ass glove.
Dude, if there was a glory hole around here, I'd take you there and fucking execute you myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's not.
I
gotta put a glory hole inside your head.
I'd have the person on the other side of the glory hole
Be a pencil sharpener.
blow your balls off, fill it with eyeballs,
Put those
suck
on your
the
eyeballs.
testicles out, of course.
And then
Put them in your eyes.
and now you have like ant eyes because
And
you
now-
got like 8 eyes per eye socket.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I thought of that.
Yeah,
And now
eyeballs instead of balls inside the balls.
And you're
of
not
your
dead,
eyes.
but you are a zombie.
That's right.
A nut zombie.
Yeah, a nut zombie.
Mhm.
Honest to God, nut zombie.
Wow.
Yes.
It's science, so
But your genitalia has vision, and that goes a long way.
it's their eyeballs.
Yes.
Let me give you a couple doctor ones. This is both in New Orleans. Dr. Samuel Chopin, long the house surgeon at Charity Hospital, resigned his post to Dr. John Forrester. But then Chopin would just like hang around, and Foster would diagnose people and say treatment, and then Chopin would walk in and be like, no, we gotta do this one.
Fuck you doing?
Where'd you go to medical school, dude? The swamp.
Swamp law is one thing. Swamp medicine's a whole other kid and caboodle.
And one of the patients was this law student who had been stabbed by a medical intern at a ball, and had lost a lot of blood.
Yeah. Everybody took the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah.
Every single
Now
one.
he's a medical student.
Yeah.
He hadn't graduated to oath
He
yet.
was
you
not
know.
beholden to the oath.
I thought you said it was hypocritical oath.
I thought you said I could do like all opposite of.
Yeah, I got into this for murder.
I sold a bill of goods, false bill of goods.
So the student losing all this blood. No one ever was ever like, more blood. They were just like, so they both offered like different treatments, and then one day they walked in the room at the same time, and
That ain't gonna do.
and they said that's not going to work. So they said, all right, and so because they were fighting, they started physically fighting,
Yeah.
and so they said, okay, we can't do this. We're going to duel in front of the hospital,
Smart.
and.
Better or worse than smoking outside?
Better.
Yeah, kind of.
Less collateral damage.
Yeah.
Probably.
So Foster and Chopin dueled. Chopin fell, shot through the jugular vein.
Shit.
But there he was in front of a hospital, so they were able to save his life. But then because he was injured, Foster was able to do all of the treatment, and the law student died.
Holy shit.
Oh, because the one guy who could do the surgery was also injured?
Or no, I think they probably neither of them knew what they were doing, but
Like, come on, dude. You know I love you.
but they argued over how to save this man. Then they fought over it, and then the man
guy died. Yeah.
So really,
Absolutely brilliant.
really great job
Stop it.
to everybody
I'm telling
involved.
you is the right way.
Uh,
There were more manuals on how to duel than there were how to then just sew up a jugular.
Yeah. And the way that manual was being written was with dueling.
Yeah.
it was interesting. The doctor shot in the jugular; he survived, but the student stabbed with a knife.
They said it couldn't be done.
Yeah,
But my great colleague here.
All I had to do was sew my nutsack on his eyelids. And look at him now.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Eyes bright as the sun. Heart stop.
From Tenenbaums. Oh, you saved me when I got stabbed. Who stabbed you? He did.
No one knows why this one happened. This is in Philadelphia. There was a doctor named Smith and
I know.
a doctor named Jeffries. He was probably over the Eagles or something. They
Without whiz.
they had a disagreement. They did 8 paces. They fired at each other. They missed. The seconds came in and said, "Okay, knock it off." Didn't work. They tried again. This time at 8 paces again, and Smith's arm was broken. He said, "I'm not done." He said that he was wounded. He might as well die. So they did it a third time. This time Smith was using his left hand. He hit Jeffries in the thigh. Jeffries fainted, but then he regained consciousness, carried on.
Here I go.
To shorten the procedure, the physician shortened the distance to 6 feet.
Oh, under doctor's orders.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Let's
as
get this over
a
with.
medical professional under the state of Pennsylvania,
I'm in surgery in 2 hours.
I recommend Yin's guys.
Yeah.
Yin's guys
guys-
stand 6 feet apart.
These guys get way closer.
Yeah.
And let's wrap this whole thing up because my tea time is.
The Eagles are playing pretty soon, so
They both fired.
there's a real hot John coming through. We got it.
Smith fell dead on the spot. Jeffries was mortally wounded, and then as he was dying, he asked if Smith was dead, and they said yes. And he said, "Well, he'd been a schoolmate of mine, and we'd been on great terms of intimacy, of friendship for 15 years, and he was a great man of science and a gentleman."
Dude, the thing of the intimacy.
Yeah. What else can I say other than it was a great privilege to
Yeah.
be as intimate as one man can be? With
I sort of got it's the anti-marriage. It's the thing where you go like, oh my God, I fucking respected the shit out of him, and there's no more intimate moment than when the person you value is dying at your whim, and
penetration.
also I am too, but let's talk more about him. What the fuck?
Well, it's the honorable thing to do.
You know, it's like you remember.
He didn't fight. He didn't punch down back. Well, I guess back then, at that point, you would. But part of it was that part of the honor was that this person was on your level.
But is that also possibly, and this is not reducing the emotional import of it, but is it possible that it was seen as possibly the only way you could have a romantic gesture if you were a gay man?
No, I think people were still doing gay stuff without shooting each other.
Not if you're deeply closeted.
Maybe no, but
People have been having sex. Men have been having sex with men without killing them for as long as people have been killing people and having sex.
But what I'm saying is the closeted gay man is so much more likely, like, for instance, in the Republican Congress, to vote against everything that is
would be seen as
they have to look extra macho. So is it possible that could inform that sort of thing?
It's such
in a masculine way.
It's such a small population, like percentage of the population, that it's impossible that so many. But also, killing somebody is an intimate thing. It's traumatic.
Yeah, fighting, like we said,
fighting is traumatic, but also intimate. And I think those don't have to. It doesn't have to be anything homosexual.
No. But I wonder if it plays a part. And I completely agree with you. I really do.
Good.
like the intimacy supersedes
Sexuality.
sexual
Right.
orientation. But I wonder if some of that played into it in those days.
In certain, I'm sure that I'm sure at some point in history,
Some guy
two deeply closeted men killed each other.
Out of love for each other.
Because like, I'm not gay, you are.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
No.
No, I think the simpler explanation is that it's all fun and games until you're on the field. And then the moment where you are facing death, there's a flood of emotions that you've never experienced before.
Right.
And then the moment where you actually are dying, you realize it was a very stupid idea. And you don't wish harm on anybody.
Because harm hurts so bad.
Yeah. And,
Yes.
and you would trade it all for one more day
With anybody.
with anybody.
Well, right.
Because it's easy to trade barbs back and forth through the paper or through seconds.
Sure.
But the moment you actually are on the field is when these guys go, I didn't really actually mean any harm.
Okay, all right. So, man, this is the thing I wanted to ask you, and I don't mean to, step on whatever you're going to say, but like, if you're going to a thesis here, but what I would say is, the gentlemanly thing. It would seem like, part of what made it gentlemanly was, we're going to wait, okay, and you're going to have to go towards, the place where you're going to make those steps, and you're going to have a lot of time to think about
Sleep on it.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a bar brawl that gets out of hand and ends up,
it's not a crime of passion after a
what,
while.
the great unwashed do, right?
Sure.
Instead, you're going to be like, oh no, I'm going to take that great premise of the great unwashed where somebody says something, and I'm going to feel greatly offended by it, and then I'm going to go like, you know what I have to do is meditate for this amount of time, and then I have to respond to it in an equally savage and uncivilized way.
In a way, there's less of an excuse for the noble,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like you've had time to think about this, and all you've done is ruminate.
Yes, you've had time to prove that you're both gentlemen
Yes,
by appealing to
the better angels of your nature.
absolutely right. And instead, it was this thing where you go like, "Oh no,
Nope, doubling down. And
No, we have to
continuing
double
down.
And it was the thing where you go like, "Oh yeah, like for whatever amount the plebs would be described as the great savages. The nobles were the ones that were like, you know what we're interested in? Just the very same as the boardroom scoundrels in capitalism is savage, overwhelming, victorious results.
Yes.
At any cost.
Yeah.
Was there a question there?
No, I'm just saying like it is the illusion of it's not even an illusion.
Well, no, but that's why none of these men realize this until the moment they have to do it, and then the moment after they do it. The man who wrote earlier, "I'd rather see my son dead than lose his honor,"
Did not have a dead son.
Did not have a dead son. That is a man who had not experienced having a dead son.
Yes.
Because if he had, he would have said, I
love my dead gay son.
I would do anything to not have my son be dead.
Yeah. Which is the thing you see that happens with Teddy Roosevelt and his
Once
son.
war starts
Yes.
becoming brutal.
And-
Once war affects him personally.
Yeah. For sure.
Yes.
But also, I think at first he was going like, oh, well, I put my life in the line because I felt like I was, silver spoon kid. And, he didn't realize, like, oh, when my kids go and do it, it's going to be a fucking butcher shop, right? And then it comes to his family, and he's going like, oh, my God, this fucking child I fucking adored, like, died for my fucking,
I never get to see him
bravado,
again. Yeah.
and
ripped apart by, industrialized warfare.
and then
Sure, but anything, really. If he was stabbed, by a guy on a horse.
also when you're saying the lower classes are going like, oh, well, this is something we can take on and do ourselves, and then that will loan nobility to us by virtue of going through the ritual.
Right.
They feel like they are gaining nobility by keeping up with those things, even though nobody cares because you're not noble.
Right,
They're not
right,
rich.
right. No, they're only gaining nobility in their own caste.
But the same is now. It's a thing where people go like, oh, well, if I do as the rich does, I may become as the rich is.
Right.
Which is the lie that's been held out forever.
That's the lie the rich tell you.
They sell it to you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Twice the price.
So yeah, there's not a question. Those are some observations I've come to.
But yes, yes.
Over everything you said.
I think you're on the right
great
path,
job.
though. I think you are. No, I think you are on the right path there.
I mean,
I think you're right. You got a lot of good points.
yeah. I mean, the thing you would really think is when the early days when it was just nobility, like you'd imagine like the farmers going like, shit, this
Check this shit
this
out.
motherfucker with all this shit is gonna fucking just roll the dice on dealing shit with because he's like I roll the dice on like putting on shoes.
You're right.
I might get like some fucking infection. Like he's like
I get kicked by an ox.
This
I'm
motherfucker's gonna
done.
have a fucking.
These guys have shoes.
He goes, yeah. These guys have like multiple shoes, that don't kill them.
Yeah.
That's the time when it's like it's very very honest.
Yeah.
But also, it seems like it's also a big land grab because you go like, if I can get this guy's shit, then
Yeah.
it seems like positioning and blah blah blah. Like in the fucking in the time where you're going out to a field so you don't get arrested by the sheriff. You're not getting that guy's land. You're not getting his blacksmith
It's
shop.
just you're not at that point. You're just fighting for an abstract concept.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
an abstract project that they fed you
Yeah.
because they wanted property
Yes.
and you wanted pride.
Yeah, and you don't
And-
even have
and-
a last name to pass down.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and they sold you on the idea that it was all about pride.
Right.
When the whole time it was never.
Yeah.
It was all about getting other people's shit.
Yes.
So
And that
Still
lie
not in question.
It's still a lie that gets perpetuated and sold to lower classes today.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you can win a duel without actually killing anybody.
Like telepathically.
Kind of.
Yes. Exactly.
There was a editor of the Examiner. It doesn't say. I don't know which Examiner. Something we're in the South. The Examiner.
The Examiner.
And there was this man named O. Jennings Wise. He had 8 duels in less than 2 years. And his father was the governor of Virginia. So, you already know this, man. And so the governor, of course, is like, people write about him in the newspapers. So his son is like, oh, I got to fucking
My dad ain't no bitch.
Yeah. And an editor of Whig wrote that Democrats had changed their old policy of electing idiots and elected a lunatic instead. And so Wise went to the Whig office and beat the man with a cane.
Oh.
And there was this man named Aylett who wrote something bad about the governor. So Wise denounced him in print, and Aylett, though horribly nearsighted, challenged him. And Aylett's first shot went wild, and Wise, a veteran of the duel, fired into the air, bowed, and said, "Sir, I present you to your wife and children." And that was the end of the duel.
Yeah, and that was and they tell you if you see the musical Hamilton, that eventually became the par for the course, is that you'd turn your back and you walk paces and then fire into the air.
It was a thing that happened
Occasionally.
It wasn't.
What, you forfeit with your own death?
No.
Without you wouldn't be firing at each other. It would be basically just firing into the air.
There would be a lot of duels where guys would meet. It's very much like that Orson Welles thing where they would go out to fight and everybody would just hold them back the whole time.
Right, yeah.
It'd just be 2 guys who go to the field and say, we're going to duel. And then
who fires into the air
Right.
first?
Is more noble.
Well, no, but one, yeah.
Kinda, right?
Who wins?
Yes, unless they get shot dead.
Yeah, which
and
happened to
then
Alexander.
Yes. No, it's talked about in the book, whether it's a little disputed whether Hamilton...
I'm not taking my history from musical theater.
Yes. It is disputed whether Hamilton meant to shoot into the ground or did purposely shoot into the ground or miss or whatnot. He was
from Barbados.
He had
something,
been
probably
in his son had died in a duel. I believe he had been in duels before.
Yes.
Not a good habit.
No, it's not ideal. Now there are also some people who they decided that they just could, no matter, even if they weren't ready for a duel, they could absolutely not back down at all. And
What are you, chicken?
and these are 2 writers again.
Fuck.
there was this one man named Pleasance, and there was another man named Richie. Is that right? Junior. And so what happened is they got it's one person who had this a parent or this history in newspapers, and the other person has two newspapers dueling through print, and they decide to then take it to the field. And this one guy, Thomas Jr., this man, he accused this man Pleasance of being a coward. And Pleasance was writing an abolitionist journal. Coward. And so this was a public challenge to him, and he wrote to this young man saying, "I'll see you at dawn on the south side with pistols ready to shoot." And he was told this is not how you do this, but the man accepted nonetheless. And so the day that it happened, this man Pleasance showed up with a revolver in his coat pocket, a pistol in each hand, a Bowie knife in his vest, a sword cane under his left arm. And this man, Richie, faced him with two pistols and a cutlass in his belt, a revolver in his pocket, and a pistol in each hand. And no one knows what Richie had against Pleasance. I think he was just there to represent this other man. But there's no personal animus between these two men. They started 200 yards away from each other.
What? With what? Rockets?
Couldn't even see 200 yards.
Bro. Are we fucking 17th century archers?
You're bringing it back. That's like early Patreon.
Yeah.
Aaron being hammered.
600 yards.
They couldn't even see.
Oh, right.
400 yards.
That's an early that's maybe the first episode of Connections, right?
Yeah, man. 600 yards is like a fucking quarter mile.
Yeah, you can shoot a bow that far.
Yeah, you can. A long bow, you can shoot that, but
but also like it's with a prayer.
Yeah,
No, these guys have nothing else to do.
If you've got 500 guys against 500 guys,
Yeah.
you're gonna get some hits.
Yeah.
Granted.
So this man Pleasance, he didn't want to actually do this, but he said he couldn't back down. So they start 200 yards from each other.
Okay.
Pleasance walked slowly towards Richie. When they were within 30 yards of each other, Richie opened fire. Pleasance fired in the air, but kept staggering towards Richie, taking 3 or 4 hits until he collapsed in his own blood.
Shit. Firing into the air?
Going down, he slashed with a sword cane and cut Richie slightly in the face and then fell. He was carried from the field and died 2 days later.
Fuck.
On his deathbed...
The fucking motherfucker.
On his deathbed, he said he had taken the ball out of his pistol the night before. I didn't want to kill him. I went there to show him that I was not a coward. And he was pleased to hear that he was called a brave fellow.
I took the balls out of my sack.
The other man was tried for murder.
Oh.
The other man was tried for murder, but the jury didn't even
show up.
Didn't even leave the box. They just said, "Of course he's not."
Yeah, they got drunk.
And then the whole courtroom burst into applause.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Okay, so I'm gonna. This is there's some modern ones, but I'll save those for another time. I want to give you. Sometimes you don't need guns or your own weapons to duel.
You're right, Matt.
Yeah.
Tell us how.
Tell us what we need.
In India in 1894, 2 British colonial officers, Captain Phillips and Lieutenant Shepard, suffered a falling out and contrived an exotic local variation on the duel. They locked a deadly venomous snake, probably a cobra, into a dark room, waited an hour, then entered the room from opposite doorways, groping their way blindly around the furniture.
Jesus fucking Christ.
After 10 minutes, Lieutenant Shepard screamed. Phillips, they say, rushed out of the room with his hair instantly turned white. Shepard died gruesomely a few hours later.
Holy shit.
I say, Phillips, here's what's going to happen. You've besmirched my family name. I'm going to wrestle up a wild cobra, king cobra, black mamba. I'm going to throw it into a dark room. You and I are going to enter on opposite sides.
I dare say, Shepard, I'm going to enter that room and seduce the snake and fuck it in front of you.
Not before I do, Phillips. I say I'm going to seduce the snake with my masculine wile. I'm going to penetrate it from behind and in the mouth.
Hear me now, Shepard. The snake will drink my venom.
You savage. You don't have the right for that snake's mouth or anus. I'm going to come first and last.
I'll tell you what. The Rattler is ribbed for your pleasure, Phillips.
You deviant. I'll see you in there. I'll fuck the snake, then I'll fuck you.
I should hear the maracas going off inside your rectum, Phillips.
I'll have none of this. Habib, open the door and blindfold me. I'm going in this room and fucking this man and this snake.
I'll see you on the other side, Phillips. I'm going to rip out those snake beads, and you're going to writhe in pleasure.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Phillips. I'll see you in hell.
Whoa! God damn.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's get into a weird room.
With the snake.
The most phallic symbol of all times.
A weird room? Like a dark, like what?
Fumble around the furniture.
Yeah, just, we're...
Oh, I'm here
Look.
for the gangbang.
Yeah, the pettiest, I do love pettiness.
Oh, yeah.
And the history of it, and then it having rules.
Oh,
He's so fucking dumb.
The rules of pettiness is a rich history.
yes.
Man, excellent job, man.
Well,
That's dueling for you.
Fucking blind snake hide and seek is so funny.
I got really carried away with my takeaways. Did you have any takeaways about the whole practice that you?
No, I think we pretty much covered them all.
Other than it's just a sheer savagery. Or Aaron, you?
Well, it's attempting to put rules on brutality is inherently funny.
Yes.
Yes.
But a lot of it has to do with, like geography and politics and tradition and abstract notions of honor. There are less honor killings in places where, one, women have rights. Two, there is a pervasive rule of law.
Yeah. I also think like there's a thing there too where you go like when we said like when it was a noble effort where you go like these motherfuckers that don't have to work, first of all,
They have the luxury of killing each other.
Yeah, yeah.
But also like bro, like start chilling. But you go like, oh, the only reason they would do it is to be like, oh, you don't gotta work. I guess you gotta work some way. And that's the way they look at it.
I think that's part of it. I think also when you're of a noble class like that where you don't have to work, there is no law that applies to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you are rich enough in those places and there is no system of accountability, the only accountability that you have is that which you impose on each other.
Yes, and the observation. It's not observation; it's just a true thing. But the thing that happens in Game of Thrones, where Bronn is going like, "Yeah, I'm a fucking like mercenary now." He's like, "All of your family started with just like the most brutal mercenary."
Yeah.
And he's
and then you got a name.
And then there was a thing where like they were kind of going like the nobility was kind of admitting like we still respect the heavy hand and the most notable brute we'll
give him a name.
well and we'll say it's noble and gentle.
Yeah, and after a few
Like-
generations, it will be.
Right. Yes. But it's the thing where you go like, was it almost cultivated to keep that thing of like, we must stop everyone from becoming soft or something?
Yeah, I think there's an insecurity there.
Yeah.
Isn't that an
You
like?
know, we're gentle, but not soft. We're not soft. We still have it. You know.
Oh right, yeah. I can be the most cruel.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
even if
truth to
I've
that.
never
Had
plowed
to.
a field once in my life.
I still know how to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit.
Man, that was absolutely wonderful.
Thank you,
Joe.
I would.
I'd love a Patreon with some more.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure we will.
Mhm.
You're going on a trip. I hope it's a lovely time.
Thank you.
I guess. Yeah, I hope it's fun.
I like the phenomena ones. I was telling Matt, where it's not a profile in
Oh yeah.
a person, it is
A
a
historical
profile
phenomenon.
in a phenomenon.
Mhm.
I like it too.
It was
I love a trip through time.
Yeah, yeah.
I love flying through the universe.
Mm,
I love it.
that's nice.
I love it when it goes from the street sweeper,
I love it when it goes to a lowly king. You might be a king or a lowly street sweeper.
yeah.
Mhm.
Sooner or later, you gotta duel with the Reaper.
Mhm.
right?
You know, you might get there through medieval law,
Yeah.
but you might find your way through the swamp law.
Yeah. What was it until she rose? She goes, I dine with kings and queens, and I fed on pork and beans. I'm really done like that.
I smoke from I've snorted from the silver spoon, and I've smoked the finest green.
All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Fellas, I love you, boys.
Love you too.
I'm going to say goodnight. My name's John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Right.
Good night.
Starburns Audio.